Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support, we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
I went pale seeing them rush at her, but I couldn't do anything. I was barely holding off the two monsters in front of me. Learning from my earlier mistake, I forced myself not to keep looking in her direction. As strong as these things were, Sarah was still in less danger than us. She had already killed one in a few minutes, while we couldn't even land a proper hit. Bloop. SSS. I barely dodged a bite, but some of its saliva splashed into the wound on my head and started burning the torn flesh. It hurt, but compared to the pain of the exercise, it was nothing. That saliva could be dangerous for people with low defense and vitality, but I doubted it would affect me too badly. I felt a small spike in power fluctuations from Jim's direction. Looked like he had just broken through to level 3 of the private grade. I was happy for him, but it stung a little too. 2 weeks ago, we'd both advanced to level 2 on the same day. Now he had moved up again, and I still hadn't sensed any sign of a breakthrough from Ashlyn. Those mixed feelings pushed me harder. I managed to circulate not only the 6th, but also the 7th movement of the exercise. It felt like my body was being torn apart, and my sword trembled slightly in my grip, but I forced my hand to steady and swung at the monsters. I'd misjudged. Even with 2 extra moves, my speed only increased a little. It still wasn't enough. They dodged easily. If I wanted to actually hurt them, I need to reach at least the 10th movement. I needed to kill these things quickly. If more showed up, I'd be in real trouble. Swish! They slipped around another of my strikes. These hyenas were incredibly fast. None of my attacks landed. I hadn't even cut a single hair. All I could do was keep dodging and hope that at some point, one of my swings would connect by luck. While I fought, I kept stealing quick glances from the corner of my eye. The 3 hyenas surrounding Sarah were all bleeding and badly injured. She'd be able to finish soon. Jim, too. The 2 hyenas he was fighting were both wounded. Their injuries were light, but they were still injuries. At this rate, he would probably finish his battle in half an hour. Instead of feeling only relief that they would soon come help me, I felt something bitter and heavy inside. I didn't want them to always have to come rescue me. I didn't want them to look down on me or think I was dead weight. If I couldn't keep up with them, I'd be too ashamed to go hunting together next time. I refused to let that happen. With that thought burning in my chest, I forced my body into the 8th movement of the exercise. Fueled by emotion, I managed to push through the pain after a few tries. My speed increased again. It became harder for the monsters to hit me, but it was still just as hard for me to hit them. Boom! Another one of Ashlyn's fireballs hit a hyena. It didn't deal any real damage, just singed some fur and made it angrier. She'd been throwing more and more fireballs since she sensed Jim and his black snake breakthrough. She was even more competitive than I was. Seeing that snake level up before her had left her irritated and restless. In a way, it was a good thing. Over the past 10 minutes, her fireballs had become more frequent. Driven by anger, she had shortened the time it took her to summon the flames. Bam! Suddenly, Ashlyn wrapped herself in silver fire and hurled her tiny body straight at one of the monsters. It still didn't do much damage, but I could clearly feel what she was feeling. She had been frustrated for days. Against specialist-grade monsters, she hadn't been able to help much beyond distraction. Now even her fireballs were barely irritating them. That helplessness was boiling over. That was why she'd thrown herself into that reckless attack. Enough, Ashlyn. Calm down, I shouted when I saw her preparing to do it again. She'd been lucky the first time. If the monster had caught her then, it could have bitten her in half in a single gulp. Choo-choo. She calmed down, but she didn't stop throwing fireballs. At least she kept her distance now. Slice. My sword suddenly moved faster as I managed to circulate the 9th move. For the first time, my blade actually scratched a hyena. It barely counted as a wound, just a shallow cut where my sword had finally made proper contact, but it was still progress. Seizing that tiny opening, I forced myself into the 10th movement. Bang! The next instant, the monster slammed its head into my stomach. For a moment, my vision went black from the impact, and the burning pain of the exercise combined. The shock snapped me back, and I staggered, barely catching myself in time to avoid the follow-up attack. Slice! Yes, I gritted out between my teeth. Now I could finally go on the offensive. Forcing myself to stay calm, I pushed again and circulated the 11th move. The pain almost made me scream, but I didn't let the flow break. Slice! Laugh! My sword finally tore into a vital spot. At the 11th move, my attack power was enough to seriously damage them. Sarah and Jim only had one monster each left. They'd be done in a few minutes. Laugh, laugh. The wounded hyena let out a broken cry as my blade bit into its neck. The cut wasn't deep enough to kill it instantly, but blood gushed out in a steady stream. It would die soon from blood loss. With the pressure dropping, I turned fully on the remaining hyena. Laugh! It snarled at me, fury in its eyes, and its attacks grew more savage. But no matter how wild it became, my body kept up. At this level of circulation, I could avoid its strikes much more easily. Slice! My sword slashed across its back, leaving a long, bloody wound. Roaring in pain, it went berserk and attacked like a mad beast. Poochie! Seeing an opening, I thrust my sword down into the neck of the first hyena that was still twitching on the ground. I didn't want any last-second surprise from it. Now I could focus completely on the final one. Seeing me kill its companion, the last hyena lost what little reason it had left. It threw itself at me without caring about its own defense. That made things easier. In its rage, it stopped dodging properly. Stab! I drove my sword straight into its eye the moment I saw an opening, killing it in a single clean strike. Thud! The monster collapsed heavily to the ground. I finally let go of the exercise circulation. The pain that had been beating through my body eased just a little. When I looked up, I saw Sarah and Jim standing at a distance, watching me. They must have finished their own fights some time ago and had been quietly observing while I struggled my way through the last two. They stopped about 20 meters in front of us, staring with vicious eyes. Up close, they looked even bigger than I'd first thought, just a bit smaller than the searing hog I'd fought before. Laugh, laugh. That horrible sound came out of their throats, half laugh, half wail. Every time I heard a hyena monster cry like that, the hairs on my body stood on end. Drool dripped from their jaws. I'd read that some monsters prefer human meat over other monsters. Hyenas were apparently one of them. Whoosh! They charged. All 6 of them rushed straight towards Sarah. Shit! I cursed, stepping forward to back her up, but halfway through their charge, the pack split into 2 groups, each led by a bigger hyena. Their real targets were me and Jim. They completely ignored Sarah. I'm dead, flashed through my mind as 3 hyenas barreled toward me. They were truly deceitful. First, they made it look like they were going for Sarah, and when we relaxed just a little, they split and went after the weaker members of the party. I tightened my grip on my sword and forced myself to circulate the 5th move of the exercise. Up until now, I'd only managed to reach the 4th, but in desperation, I broke through to the 5th. The pain was unbearable. I was 1 step away from blacking out, but with death right in front of me, I held on. 3 monsters charging me at once. I knew my chances of surviving were slim, but I still clung to that tiny hope. They closed in. At 2 meters away, I raised my sword to strike. Bam! A purple ball of lightning came out of nowhere and smashed into the head of the lead hyena. All 3 monsters jerked back, startled, their attention shifting from me as their leader was hit. Oh! The lightning ball turned out to be Sarah's fluffy lynx cub. It had only managed to burn the hyena's hide a bit, but the fact that this cute little fur ball could do that was shocking on its own. Laugh! The hyena leader let out another warped cry and lunged at the lynx, but the cub's body was suddenly covered in purple lightning. It slipped past the attack with ease. It all felt long in my mind, but in reality, it happened within seconds. I glanced to the side. Sarah was locked in combat with the second leader, while Jim was caught between 2 hyenas of his own. The 2 hyenas in front of me, who had frozen for a moment, snapped out of it and pounced. Laugh, laugh. I barely dodged their snapping jaws. They were incredibly fast. They didn't give me any time to counterattack, just kept pressing from all directions. All I could do was dodge and block as best as I could. Thankfully, I brought the armor. It was doing a good job absorbing the worst of their blows, and thanks to my strength and body, I could endure the leftover force the armor couldn't fully block. Laugh! A mournful cry rang out, and when I glanced over, I saw Sarah unleashing a lightning element skill through her sword. The hyena leader she was facing was covered in burn marks. I was stunned. It hadn't even been 2 minutes since the fight began, and she'd already injured her opponent that badly. Meanwhile, even if I had been facing only one of the hyenas in front of me, I doubted I could have given it a proper wound. The other hyena that had been chasing her lynx immediately turned to help its leader. Slice! Fuck! I hissed as claws raked above my ear. The cut was deep, but not fatal. Thank God it was a claw and not its teeth. If it had bitten instead, my skull would have probably been crushed. That was the price I paid for looking away in the middle of a fight. I swore I wouldn't make that mistake again. Chomp! I barely avoided losing my ear in the next bite. I could feel its hot breath right against the side of my head. These monsters were vicious. In the last 10 minutes, I hadn't even gotten a single proper chance to attack, but I'd taken several hits. The only reason I wasn't torn apart was the armor. It kept most of the damage from turning into serious injuries, leaving me to bear only the overflow force with my body. Luckily, the exercise had made my physique far tougher than the usual evolver at my level. But using the armor came with a cost. I could only support it for about 2 hours before my mana ran dry. If I were only running the armor alone, I could probably last longer. But I was also using my sword artifact, which was infused with fire. And both armor and sword were only operating at around 20 to 25% of their full power. Only after I reached specialist grade would I be able to draw out their full potential. Right now, all I could do was dodge like crazy. Against 2 hyenas, I was completely suppressed. I had no way to push back. My only real hope was the Devil's Exercise. I was sure that if I could circulate it up to the 7th move, I'd have enough power to go on the offensive. I've been trying to reach the 6th move, but the pain was so intense that I kept failing. Still, I didn't give up. Every second, I tried again, believing that with enough attempts, I'd be able to endure it. Boom! Another fireball from Ashlyn hit one of the hyenas, but it did little more than singe some fur and annoy it. Laugh! It snapped at Ashlyn, letting out a weird cry before turning its focus back to me. Tap! One of the monsters hit me in the back with a surprise attack. I was sent stumbling forward. Luckily, we were fighting in a relatively open clearing. If there had been a big tree behind me, I might have crashed straight into it and broken something. Using the force of the blow, I rolled and put some distance between myself and the monsters. They'd catch up in a few seconds, but it was enough time to catch my breath and reset my stance. Laugh! I heard another drawn-out cry. When I looked up, I saw that Sarah had already killed one of the leaders and heavily injured the second. I was stunned. The difference between the hyenas she was fighting and the ones I was facing was basically the same. In fact, she had it worse, since she was up against a level 2 specialist grade monster. Yet she had still managed to finish one off, while I hadn't even scratched mine. Even Jim had managed to wound his opponents. The injuries were small, but they were still injuries. I felt a surge of relief and happiness seeing Sarah take down her target. The faster she finished, the sooner she'd be able to help us. Russell, I heard a faint sound from the trees and immediately got a bad feeling. Moments later, 3 large hyenas stepped out from between the trunks. The instant they saw their kin dead, all 3 howled and charged straight towards Sarah. Good kill, Micheal, Jim said excitedly. Sarah also has given nod. I gave them smile without saying anything. They both went back to their monsters to process it. I also started to clean and preserve the monster parts. Hyena monster's teeth are also just important its skin and heart. I went to remove its teeth with carefulness. It can cut my bone with the slightest pressure. That's how sharp they are. After removing all important parts of the monsters, I started to preserve them one by one. It's a good thing that I already brought some special preservation cubes for sensitive materials like hyena teeth. I startled but soon got happy. Ashlyn quickly entered inside me. There's signs of Ashlyn leveling up, and she wanted to do it now. I was about to drink mana potions when Ashlyn stooped me, saying it's not time yet. I'm not saddened by hearing this. As long as monster get feeling of leveling up, it will level up in 1 or 2 days. Most of the time, monsters level instantaneously when they get the feeling of leveling, just like Jim's black snake had leveled up earlier, but in some cases, it takes time to level up after feeling rose up. I finished cutting and preserving monster parts within 10 minutes. I looked back to see if Jim and Sarah finished or not, but what I saw has shocked me to the core. I am shocked because I saw Sarah putting one after another monster parts in her backpack, but there is no change occurring in the bag. She already filled half of the monster materials of 4 monsters in the bag, but there is no change in the size of it. Marsupial pouch, commonly known as space bags. These bags are made of special monster material, which can store more than its size. Some monsters have a marsupial pouch to store newborn cubs, or some monsters have special stomach organ where they can eat a month of meal in a single day, but there will be no change in their stomachs. This type of monster material used to manufacture space bags. After making them into space bags, their capacity again increases. The marsupial monsters are extremely rare, and some are hunted to extinction for their organ. I have heard that powerful organizations have facilities where they bred marsupial monsters for their parts. Anyway, the fact is marsupial bags are extremely rare, and their minimum price is 50 million credits, and in an auction, their price goes extremely higher. To Sarah and Jim have one. Their families must be super rich. I opened the map on my HoloWatch and started to study it. I can feel Sarah has a psych targeted on me. If I can make the slightest movement toward her or him, she will attack me. I have heard many stories where hunting partners injure or even kill each other for special herb or expensive monster of some few 100,000 credits, and I've seen thing of millions of credits. Anyone's hearts move for such price. Even mine had moved for a moment, but I swiftly controlled my mind and started to study map to distract my mind from the thought space bags. I got one more surprise in this fight, that my mana purity had reached 64.9%, only 0.1% away from standard mana purity. After my purity reached the standard 65%, I and other people in the world will have no difference after 65% mana purity. All would depend on your efforts. Because only one can get maximum 65% mana purity with the talent they get from their monster. To increase purity further, they have depended on their refinement engine and efforts. For past week, I have been operating my mana refinement engine from the moment I woke up to the moment I sleep. In that time, I haven't refining my mana for the second. Not when I'm practicing, not when I'm fighting. I didn't even stop earlier when I was nearly death's door and feeling like my head would explode. It will all worth it when I reach the standard mana purity later this day. This refinement engine is really miraculous to able to that. I only half believed it when I read, but I took a leap of faith and constructed this refinement engine. After reaching standard mana purity, the refinement of further mana refinement became many times hard. The purer the mana is, the more efforts it will take to further purify it. You're practicing supreme combat exercise, right? I heard a melodious voice. I startled hearing Sarah's voice. I got quite startled when I heard Sarah is speaking to me. This is the first time I heard Sarah speak to personally. I thought Sarah didn't like me for some reason, as she didn't talk to me when I first greeted, and after entering the forest. I tried to make small talk with her, but she didn't reply. I was surprised at such cold treatment. Even my worst classmate and bully Kevin used to reply whenever I talked to him. I didn't take it hard. I remember before leaving my mother said some people will look down on you for whatever reason and prejudices their mind make because of their narrow-mindedness. I didn't have to take it at heart. It's their loss for not talking to you. There were some complicated emotions when my mother said this to me. She must have suffered her fair share of prejudices in her life. Yes, I am practicing it. I said I didn't want to answer her question, but seeing many favors Jim has done for me and her monster had saved my life earlier, I answered it. Which set are you? She asked again. Jim had already finished putting monster material in the bag. He didn't stop his girlfriend asking this question, but his eyes looked hopeful for an answer. Although I know him for a very short time, I know he had a good heart. He only had one bad habit, that being nosy. 9th circulation of the second set. I answered. SSS that far. It is even higher than Sarah, and she is using Maki. He stopped mid-sentence when he finds Sarah looking at him angrily. Seeing you, I also tried and only able to reach the 7th circulation of the first cycle. It damn painful even using machine. Michael, you have to give me some tips, Jim said excitedly. Enough talking. We have wasted enough time. Here, let's go, Sarah said and started walking. We also followed behind her. We started to follow behind Sarah. It is a little awkward for me, as my backpack had gotten big, and every now and then it will make a sound whenever it touched some brambles or twigs. As we were walking, Michael slowed down his step and put some distance between Sarah and us. Michael, give me some tips? Michael asked, whisper. I thought he won't able to control himself and will ask, but I hadn't expected him to ask within 10 minutes after his girlfriend admonished him. Why do you need it? I asked teasingly. I just wanted to have fun at his expense. Have you seen her fight? Every time we spar, she beat the hell out of me. I just wanted her strong enough not to take a beating from her anymore, he said with a sad face while looking at Sarah. I just want to pity him, but I can't to get beaten by such beautiful girlfriend. I will ready any time to get beaten. There's no trick. You just have to circulate its moves whenever you fight. I said. He struck dumb when he heard saying that. If you practicing using the machine, try to refine your mana while circulating the exercise. It will be painful at first, but you will learn to endure it, and this method will give you immense benefits, I said. He looked a little confused when he heard it. Isn't it become even more painful if I refine my mana and circulate the exercise at the same time? He asked. He really sounded like he didn't believe me. It will feel like your head is going to explode and some of the veins of head might pop out, but this will distract you from the pain you're feeling all over your body if you are able to endure it. It will be really helpful to you, I said. He still looked confused, but he nodded. I think he will try it when he returned to the city. I have one question. Were you circulating exercise while fighting earlier? He asked. Yes, I was able to reach 9 circulation earlier. I said. I didn't mention that I was refining my mana also and still doing it now. If he hears that, he might fall unconscious due to shock. He just nodded when he heard this. We whispered talk as Sarah leading the way. Suddenly Sarah stopped and looked angrily at us. What are you two doing walking so slowly? Get ready. There are monsters ahead, she shouted at us. We silently followed her as she leads the way towards the monsters. We followed her silently, and soon we reached the place where the monsters were. Stone gorillas. There are 4 of them, and all of them at LV1, the specialist grade. I started to go over information of stone gorillas in my mind. Stone gorillas have a layer of stone defense on them. They're a defense-oriented monster, but their offense is also strong. One punch of it will easily break my bones. It likes to throw punches, and they are very fast. There's a simple way to kill it. Dodge from its punches and keep injuring until it drops dead due to excessive bleeding. It is very hard to attack its vital spots, as there is an extra layer of stone protecting it. I'll take 2. You could both handle 2, she said. We nodded in affirmation. I silently put my backpack in the clearing and followed behind them to attack the monsters. Hoot! Thump, thump, thump. Seeing us coming toward them, they started to scream and started thumping their chest. Gorillas are a very territorial monster. Whenever someone had come into their territory, they think a challenge to their authority and attack at first chance I got. I have over 60% mana left in me. It should be enough to handle these gorillas. I can drink a mana potion if my mana got low. Choo-choo. Ashley wanted to come out, but I stopped her. Her fire not going to work on it, and instead irritate. And seeing how smart gorilla monsters are, they may run away. Seeing more of our numbers are why 3 have opted to keep our monsters inside us. We will have to finish this fight early. If these monsters saw fighting is fatal to them, they will run away. These gorilla monsters are rather smart. They ran away whenever they see their opponent is too strong. I circulated the 8th move of the exercise. I tried the 9th move, but it is too painful to do that. Whoosh! Slice! I dodge its attack and attack it with my sword. A clear would be seen in its chest. I didn't stop there and keep attacking it. I know Sarah will finish her fight early, and seeing their comrades dead, this monster will surely try to run. I have to at least seriously injure it before that. Hoot! It screamed as I keep attacking it. It tried to attack me with its punches, but I dodged them. One thing I have to say, I felt fear whenever these punches passed by ears. If any of them were to hit my head, I will be fatally injured. Death also will be not out of question. Slice, slice, slice. My sword kept injuring with every move. The injuries may not seem bigger, but when they well up, they will prove disastrous to the monster. Whoosh! SSSS. I sucked a deep breath as the gorilla's punch just passed by my head. It just nailed with away. Some of my hair also get touched by it. I have to be careful. With a little mistake on my part, my head would explode like a watermelon. Thud. I heard I know what sound that is. Without looking, Sarah had finished killing her first monster. Hoot-toot. A mournful cry rang out of the other monster that was fighting Sarah, and all three remaining monsters started to run. Slick. It's good that I already attacking the monster at my full power at the beginning. Its body already had riddled with injuries. At 10 some sort it will be dead. Slice, slice, slice. I attacked it back and it ran. It tried to fend off my attacks, but at no use, its speed started to decrease as it is bleeding all over its body. Thud. Hoot. It felt as I cut its feet's nerves. Slice. I attack it from a certain distance. Dying monster is the most dangerous monster, and I totally understand that. Soon it stopped moving. I attack a few times before feeling sure that it's dead. I started to cut it and preserve it. It is very dangerous, and being alone would be very dangerous. After preserving all its parts, I removed the special bag from my pocket and started to fill its monster parts. I brought it just for emergencies, as sometimes I put my backpack away for being heavy. After putting all monster parts in the bag, I started to walk toward the original fighting scene to meet Jim and Sarah. Note: I need an editor or proofreader for my yet-to-release lit RPG novel. If any of you are interested, then please message me. Sarah and Jim were already dissecting monsters when I reached the place where we fought. Looks like you killed it, Jim said, looking at the big bag that I am carrying. I nodded and walked toward my backpack. I opened my backpack and started to place all monster parts inside it from the temporary bag. The backpack is nearly all reached its capacity. If we knew monster, I have to put them into the temporary bag. It's now early afternoon. We can easily hunt monsters one time before leaving. Seeing my mana is below 15%, I decided to drink a mana potion. With drinking this, I have only 2 mana potions left. If not for emergency, I don't like to drink mana potion, as each one costs nearly 5,000 credits. Let's go, Micheal, said Jim. I nodded and walked behind him. It has become very difficult to walk with due to the size of my backpack. I have to circulate till 4th move of exercise to comfortably walk with my backpack, as it has become too heavy. As Sarah leading the way, I don't have to worry about not finding enough monsters to hunt. She looked very familiar with this area. Sarah stopped suddenly and made some hand signs. Understanding them, we quietly retreated and changed the direction. The hand sign she made earlier means dangerous monsters ahead that we can beat, and retreat will be the best option for us. We had already run into 3 such lairs, but Sarah warned us early, and we were able to change our direction. Get down and hide, Sarah said out of sudden. Seeing her pale pace, I can say that the situation is very dangerous. I quickly threw my backpack and hide in the bushes near me. Although it has some thorns, I didn't care and hide deep inside. The whole air had suddenly became dead silence. Not chirp or roar of the monster could be heard. It's like all the monsters had hidden in their lairs out of fear. Caw, caw, caw. Just as I heard this sound, I know the reason for the dead silence. It is wind crows. They have class 3 strain. They could maximum level up to the corporal stage, but that's not most fearful about the morphal in their quantity. The smallest group of them had 5,000 monsters. With this quality, they could even threaten some lieutenant grade monsters. Wind crows are very vengeful. If you kill one of them, the whole group will attack you. That is why whenever one hears this caw, monster or human, their first instinct would be hidden. Caw, caw, caw. Sky blanketed dark as wind crow started to pass over our head. I with from little gaps of brambles as they pass over. The scene is really fearful. If any one of crow notices us and attack, all of his group will follow, and that would be certain death. I didn't even dare to breathe as the wind crows flew over us. It took them only 2 minutes to pass us by, but we strictly stayed 10 minutes hidden out of cautions. They are gone. It's safe to come. Sarah's voice sounded. I come out from a bramble while removing thorns from my head and clothes. We didn't waste time on dill-dallying and started to look for the monster to hunt, and it didn't take Sarah long to find another group of monsters to hunt. We started to attack the monster group and finished them within little more than 1 hour. Jim and I killed 2 each, while Sarah killed 3. Jim and Sarah's space bags had reached the limit and they have to use their backpacks to store monster material. My backpack also had reached the limit earlier. I have to use the temporary bags to store the material. Jim offered to put some of my monster material in his backpack, but I declined, but now I'm regretting declining Jim's kind offer. I have backbeat on my back and 2 temporary bags in my both hands if any monster to attack me. I have to depend on the Ashlyn as she comfortably sitting on my backpack. We are walking toward the exit and only half hours remaining to sunset, but is no problem as we will exit in 15 minutes and easily call hovercar. Good, I exclaimed in my mind. My mana had finally reached the 65% purity. From now on, there will be no difference between those with talent and me in mana purity. Now the real difficulty starts, as it will be many times difficult to purify mana. Beep finally sounded. The signal had returned, and I can now call, however. Thud. I put 3 of my bags on and flexed my muscle. They were feeling sore. I was about call hovercar, but Micheal stopped me saying that he can lift everything. Soon Jim's hovercar came, and its robotic arm had expertly lifted bag of all 3 of us. Jim had dropped me off at my Asta Bazaar at my request. I thought they were also going to sell their monster materials at my Asta Bazaar, but he said he has the use of them. He offers to wait for me while I sell all my material, but I declined to say I had business in the bazaar. He left with Sarah saying he will call me later about our next trip. The store will offer you 140,000 sirs, said male clerk. I accepted the offer, and instantly money had transferred to my account. Ashlyn and I ate in one of the food truck and left for our apartment after we finished eating. Today was the most productive hunting I've ever had. I killed 5 specialist monsters, but that had made me so tired that I just want to sleep. Click. I opened my apartment door and went in. I made myself take a bath before sleeping as my body's smelling very bad, and I don't want to wake next day smelling this smell. After bathing, I'm about to get ready for sleep when I remembered something. Ashlyn, come here. I called Ashlyn as I removed a small piece of core from the tower. I forget to feed it to Ashlyn in the morning, and she didn't remind as she didn't like the taste of it. Eat this, I said, putting clipped nail-sized monster core part in her mouth. She didn't resist because she knew there will be no delicious tomorrow if she didn't eat it. Good night, Ashlyn. I settled late on the bed to sleep. I had just lightly fallen asleep when Ashlyn suddenly entered inside me and started leveling up. She is leveling up. This thought woke me afresh, and I quickly downed a mana potion as I will need mana while leveling up. I could feel the changes occurring in my body as I leveling up, each and every pore of my body brimming with mana. This is the first time I am experiencing leveling up in my full concentration. Last time when I was leveling up, I was in the midst of combat and had no time to check on my body, but this time I'm experiencing all. The mana in my central storage had continued decreasing at visible speed. It is good that I had mana potion in hand. This process feels good, but not as good as creating a seal in a supreme combat exercise. That feeling is wonderful. Nothing could compare it. Leveling up feels like mana flowing in every pore of my body and enhancing every virtue of my body, but creating a seal of supreme combat exercise is all about physical. The feeling one got from it really wonderful. Choo-choo. Ashlyn come out of me chirping happily. I'm also elated as I also felt my power increase. From now on, I could easily kill any LV1 specialist grade monsters. Killing normal mid-level specialist grade monster wouldn't be a problem, but slightly powerful mid-specialist grade monster come. I will have no choice but run. In center ring, I am feeling really happy today. After so much material I've collected today, I will able to pay back at least $500,000 to $1 million back to my parents. I wouldn't be thinking huge debt if I hadn't sneaked into my father's lab and accidentally broke that instrument. To all the things I've owned is loaned from my parents. No matter genius, I am in alchemy. It will take me years to pay off that loan. Who told me to broke that 100 million credit synthesizer in my father's lab? Taking a long sigh, I went back to the making potions. After exchanging some monster material, I got all the herbs and other things I needed for making potions. It should be able to last me for 2 weeks. I feel a little gleeful on the thought of paying back my father, as little as they may be. I had promised myself that I will pay my debt within 3 years. Click. I just had taken a bath to remove the smell of the lab and about to sleep. A beautiful purple hair girl came in with a seductive smile on her face. She is wearing a loose red slip dress, which clearly shows off her assets. Gulp! I gulp as saw her coming toward me. Seeing her smile, I know trouble is coming, but so blessing, I know that smile too well. She now looked completely different from the morning Sarah, who was cold and serious. That was just her facade for Micheal, as she had her reservation about him, but the Sarah in front of me, real Sarah, unbridled and free. Sarah and I are childhood friends. We both like each other since we were teens. It's been more than a year we are a relationship. Sarah, why are you here? I asked as it's already past midnight. I just miss you, she said, and come near me as to hug me. I can smell her enchanting perfume as she comes closer to me. She crossed her arms around my neck and just looked at me. Sarah, what do you want? I asked with a straight face. I'm not going to show weakness. Once I showed weakness, she will get upper hand. She always does this whenever she wants something from me. Since childhood, she first set a trap for me with whatever thing I want and then fell into it before making her demand. And in past 1 year, it has become even worse. As a hormonal teenager, the one thing I want most is her, and she has been using that very well. Why? Can I come and meet you? Because I missed you, she said in blaming tone. Her face also looks so sad that one just wants to hold her and comfort her. If not for her knowing her too well, I would have thought she is really sad and comforted her, but I know all these is acting. She's a really good actor. No, you won't, I said. Hearing straight answer, she went back into her seductive face. Well, you are right. I do want to know something, but before that, she said and suddenly kissed me. Rejecting her kiss didn't come into my mind. Only an idiot would reject such offer, and she is kissing me on her own. I plan to enjoy her, and will think about what she wanted later. I am in cloud 9 as we kissed. It feels enchanting and invigorating. Feels like I am heaven, and when she adds little founder in the mix, I don't have words to describe it how wonderful it feels. We kept kissing. As kisses grew long, so is passion. We had only reached second base in our relationship, and she only let me enjoy her beautiful breast only once. I tried it many after then, but whenever I tried, she halted my advances. Working up my courage, I started to move my hands up from her waist. I didn't do it hastily, learning from past mistakes. I slowly worked my hands toward her breast. I stopped just before reaching her breasts and started kissing Sarah more passionately. Seeing she didn't have any intent options to stop me, I wove me on her breast with great courage. My heart started to beat faster as I'm doing that. I got stopped many times at this stage. As my hand touched her soft breast, I feel so good that I felt only one time before. Even though there's a layer of clothing between my hands and her breasts, it still feels good. Her breast is still quite good while in teens. I start to salivate whenever I think about how wonderful her breast will become in a few years. As this thought come to my mind, I become more excited and started to kiss her passionately while my hands were busy fondling her wonderful breasts. I became more daring as passion grew and started to feel unsatisfied with fondling her breast through clothing and wanted to touch the real thing. I slowly moved my hand toward the hem of her dress and about enter inside her dress. That's when she broke the kiss, not letting my hands go any further. As our lips separate, a small string of saliva formed between. Seeing this made me more excited that my lips went for her, but she stopped with her hands my chest. Her cheeks are red, and I can sense the blazing passion in her emotions, but I know she will stop me if I made further moves despite her being high on emotions. Her seductive smile back on her face, and there is something more in that smile, a meaning of triumph and victory. I again fell into her trap despite knowing it is a trap, and I will do it again. Sweetie, you got your price, but you haven't paid you for it yet? Tell you what, if you answer a few of my questions, I will not stop you doing what you're doing earlier, Sarah said with a sweet smile. My eyes went wide, and my heart started to beat faster when I heard her saying that. She will not me? How many times did I dream about it in the past few months? To feel her amorous body with my hand without any restriction. How many times had I dreamed about this moment? But I came to myself and looked at her. She still has a seductive smile on her face. We were so close that we can feel each other's breaths. Sweetie, you asked your bumpkin friend for tips, haven't you? Don't you want to share those with your girlfriend? She said with an innocent smile. Now I understand why she initiated the kiss and even let me do the second base and even promised for more. So this is the reason. If she had asked me before making out, I would have rejected, but now I had made out with her, and my emotions are raging. She knew I will answer any of her questions with such enchanting offer she had made. We both made a pact with our monster about a month ago, and Sarah started practicing supreme combat exercise from the next hour, as all the elites of big organizations do. Within 20 days, she had created her first seal, leaving behind all elites of other organizations, but as she started second set of the exercise, she can't seem to go further in the first move of the second set of the exercise, even using machines and various potions that elevates more than half of the pain. Well, she's already quite ahead of her peers, but she shows she is nothing close to those on the mainland, and that's vexing her for the past week. And today, she met Micheal, who she treated like nobody is way ahead of her, and he hadn't used machines or any potions who left her behind while using less time than her. Her pride has taken a blow seeing that. She wanted to ask Micheal for tips, but her pride wouldn't let her do that, as she always thought and still think that she is above free adventures. I also in dilemma to tell her or not. Micheal did trust me greatly, giving me his precious tips. I don't want to betray his trust like that. Don't fret over it. If it hadn't been for you, he wouldn't be alive today, said Sarah. What is said right if it hadn't been for me, he and other in tunnels 2 weeks ago. When an accident happened in the tunnel, seeing the monster horde, I grudging asked for my father help with a special communication device that he gave me. West Blood City was fighting a monster from Myasta Forest and had no time or manpower to rescue. The one rescued us were my father and his team. He would have come within an hour to me, if not for the brigadier-level monsters he encountered on the way. Thinking this, I felt little less guilty as I was about to tell him Michael's secret to Sarah. It's not enough, I said. If I'm going to tell her Micheal tips and feel guilty about it, then I might as well get more from Sarah for betraying my friend's trust. An irritating expression flashed across Sarah's face, as well as in her, as she looked at me with her angry eyes, but I didn't bat an eye seeing her angry face. What do you want? She said grudgingly. I smiled as she asked me. She knows me very well, but I also know her very well too. Ever since she comes to know about the mainland, a fire of competition lit inside her that made her compare herself to those at mainland, and she will do almost anything to reach the mainland standard. You will spend every night with me for a week, I said smilingly. If this was for any other thing, she would have rejected it without a second thought. But this time is different. She will definitely do this. Hearing this, Sarah's face bloomed into full smile all of a sudden, and I can sense she is really feeling happy. Now I feel my boyfriend has some guts. I thought you would never ask, she said, and suddenly kissed me passionately. I am so stumped by her action that I had responded to her kiss for a few seconds late. Tell me, she said after she broke the kiss. I am still dazed by her actions. Well, he said. I dazedly finished telling her what Micheal told me. She stayed silent for a while. I also got stumped when I heard this from Micheal. It's quite unbelievable and dangerous to do it in Michael's way. Are you sure he's telling the truth? Sarah asked. Her mind is filled with questions. Your boyfriend is an empath, you know, right? I said to Sarah with a smile. My monster's name is Myriad Dwarf Snake. It brought by parent from the mainland, just like Sarah's Thunder Shoretail. Myriad Dwarf Snake special monster species, even the mainland. There's a dwarf in their name because they never grow or more than palm size. They have average attack power compared to other monsters in the mainland, but the special thing about these is shown in their name Myriad. Myriad is attached to their name because 1 in every 100 Myriad Dwarf Snakes is born with special ability except for poison and are very expensive, especially when they were in eggs. My parents got it as a gift from the organization. When he was in the mainland, the organization gave it as a gift. When they checked, it didn't develop, and when he came back to West Blood, he wanted to sell it, as he already brought Wind Short Hair for me, just like Sarah's Thunder Short Hair, but I rejected it and wanted Little Guy instead. Seeing me adamant about it, my parents accepted, but when I made a pact with it, all of us got a very big surprise, as this Myriad Dwarf Snake had a second ability. It's just that it couldn't be seen, and that ability is sense others' emotions that I inherited from it, which made me empath. I can sense others' emotions. I can easily tell which emotions others feeling and one is telling the truth or not. It has limitations, though. I can only sense the emotions of those 1 grade higher than me above that my ability didn't work. Only 5 people knew about this, and Sarah is one of them. It is a little dangerous, but worth trying, said Sarah. After some thinking, I also found it plausible and wanted to try it the next day. Now that serious matters are over, we should enjoy ourselves, said Sarah seductively, and pushed me. I fell on my bed, but I don't have time to worry about that, as Sarah climbed the top of me and started kissing me in frenzy. The night is one best in my life and will be forever etched in my memories. Choo-choo. I woke up by Ashlyn's pleasant chirp. When I looked at the time, it is already past 9. Yesterday was really fulfilling, especially leveling up. It was really unexpected. I thought it would take 1 or 2 days more, but she just leveled up at night. Choo-choo-choo. Ashlyn chirped, saying she is hungry and she wants food right now. I ordered food, both of us, and went for freshening up. Just as I got out from the bathroom, my doorbell rang. I took our food from the drone, and we both started to eat. I am also feeling hungry, as I also leveled up with her. I have 150,000 credit, and it is enough to pay for the first installment of Advanced Combat Styles. I have seen yesterday how Sarah fights. She makes use of her body's every part. Her every moment she makes is precise without making any excessive moves. From my point of view, her fighting style is simply perfect. She must be learning advanced fighting style for years to get such mastery on it. Thinking is the time that I also should learn some advanced fighting style, I started to browse the web. There are hundreds of types of advanced combat styles are taught in the city, but finding one that suits me and the one I can afford is very difficult. My searching criteria for the styles which our government certifies at highest grade. Many people regret choosing uncertified courses just because they are cheap and promise guaranteed enhancement in combat. I was astonished when I learned how many people fell for it. Even I might have fallen into it, if not for I warned by many people. While they did offer their courses 3 times cheaper than certified courses, any normal man would think, why do I have to pay 3 times more just because it's certified by the government? The minimum price of courses starts from 250,000 credits and highest reach till 1 million, which is enough to buy 2 half skills. There are many specialties of advanced combat styles. Some are good for offense, while some are good for defense or speed or agility. Of all these styles, many are used by famous people, which are tended to be popular and are most expensive. As I researched these popular styles, I noticed that more 70% focused on the balance of offense and defense, which are suited most of the people, while remaining 25% focused on pure offense or defense, and rest 5% focused on the speed, stealth, etc. From my limited experience of fighting, I had clearly understood my weakness. In the fights, many times I feel that I haven't used all power of my body, and this feeling further reinforced when the first seal of Supreme Combat Exercise is formed that I haven't used my body's full potential, as there is much left untapped. I wanted to use that untapped potential in my body, and I think the styles which help me increase my speed and agility would be best. It will help to quickly kill the monsters, and if the need arises, it would even help me to run from the monster that I can't handle. I started to browse styles for speed and agility, and soon I got results. From those results, I started to select those that I liked, and soon 7 results appeared in front of me. The 7 of them are good, and I don't know to choose one, but soon an idea comes to my mind. Why not choose the style whichever's class starts first? Knife Blade Combat Style. This is the combat style I selected because its new class starts from the day after tomorrow. It is a 6-month course and will cost me about 500,000 credits to learn, but they have a special offer for independent adventures. I have paid 500,000 in 3-month period. Even before leveling up, I would have easily able to pay 500,000 in 3 months, but now that I'm leveled up, I didn't think I would even need a whole month to do that. I immediately signed up class and paid 100,000 credits, and I just have to pay 400,000 credits more. It had taken me more than 4 hours to research and select fighting style. Seeing it's the early afternoon, I quickly wore my practice suit and walked toward the training facility. I am really excited to test my power after leveling up and decided to fight against initial specialist grade evolver. When I reached the training facility, there is no empty ring available for me to issue a challenge. Looks like I just have to wait for a little to get a chance to test my power. Some people were watching the fights, while others were doing their own training. I spotted some familiar faces, but didn't go there to talk to them as I might lose ring if I distracted. All the people that are fighting in the ring, I don't think any of them compare to Sarah and Reynard in point of combat technique. I had fought with Reynard and watched Sarah fight. I can clearly see the distance between them and us. According to me, Sarah hasn't shown her in yesterday's hunting. I think she is much more powerful than she let on yesterday. And if I fought with her, she can finish me off in 10 minutes. She is the best example big organizations elite. We normal people can't compare to them. I may be not compared to her now, but I will triumph over her in the future. That's the promise I made to myself. Soon the fight ended in one ring. I circulated the move of exercise to gain more speed. If I were second late, other people will enter in my stead. But just to enter the ring, I find another boy entered ahead of me. He is a normal-looking boy wearing black practice suit. The most distinctive thing about him, that 2 practice daggers in his hand. It is very hard to see people who use daggers, as most of the people use medium or long-reach weapons. "You're not my match. You should leave," said Dagger Boy. I called him as he didn't introduce me his name. I groaned inwardly with annoyance. This dialogue had been very popular in the training facility. Whenever lower-level Evolver go against high-level Revolver, the high-level Evolver, most of the time, said this dialogue. Even I experienced it in many times. I just smiled and didn't reply to his words. Soon countdown started, and we readied our weapons to fight. "Fight!" rang out, and we both moved toward each other to fight. I did not circulate the move of the exercise as I want to test the power of LV3. Comes out of my mouth, seeing my opponent's speed at really fast, clang. Sparks flew as our weapons touch. I have to say this dagger's boy's speed is really good. I fended off his daggers with my sword. If not for an increase in my speed after creating a seal, I would have finished in our first bout. I know it's just testing moves of ours, but these testing moves tell a lot about our combat power. There is no change occur in Dagger Boy's expression as our weapon crossed. Clank, clank. I take 2 steps back due to the force of the daggers. His dagger sneakily tried to reach toward my neck. I reacted on time and able to fend off that dagger's attack, but I had to take few steps back while doing that. We crossed hints of such moves in few minutes, but no winner had shown. But in these few minutes I got better control over my body. I've been feeling little off balance ever since I started to fight. It's probably because leveling up last night, I had got full control over my body, but now exchanging some moves with Dagger Boy, I got full control over my body, just as before. Suddenly, I felt the light wind on my face. When I look at the Dagger Boy, I found barely noticeable, faint green layer covering his body. Seeing him started using his power, I also started to circulate the 3rd movement of the exercise to counter his power. In this fight, there is no aggression. We both were just fighting for our progress. Fighting this Dagger Boy, I've come to understand that he's amateur as me and probably recently had come to West Blood City. Clank, clank. My sword and his dagger touched and drew apart, his attacks becoming faster and faster. To keep up with his speed, I kept advancing moves of the exercise. Although my opponent is immature in fighting style like me, he had a great fighting instinct. She must have hunted a lot of monster wherever he comes from. Sup? I barely avoided his dagger. He sped away from his dagger in mid-attack to surprise attack me. I got hit by his moves many times. If I opened my practice suit, I would see a lot of red marks on my both hands, as that's where his attacks most concentrated on. Thud, thud, thud. Seeing him increasing his power again, I also circulated another move of exercise to match his power. I had nearly reached my limit fighting this Dagger Boy, and don't think I can last more. He just has to increase his power 2 more times, and I will be finished. The fight would have really ended quickly if he knew any combat technique, or would have lasted little more if I knew any. Clink, clink. My sword had attacked his daggers. I knew that the fight would end soon, so I went offensive and started to attack with all my heart. Yesterday, after leveling up, I thought I would be able to beat most of the initial spatial grade evolvers, but really is hard. I think I would be able to beat the dregs of the initial specialist grade. Monster and men are really different. Monsters fight by their instinct while men with their brains. That is why men always triumph over the monster of the same level or level above them despite monster having the advantage of all stats. Sup? You lost, said the Dagger Boy as his one dagger touched my neck. Yes, I've lost. Thank you for the spar, I said and got out of the ring. Just as I got out of rings to limit, a girl quickly entered the ring to challenge. The 2 days passed quickly. In the past 2 days, I've challenged many specialist grade evolver, but only able to beat the 2 of them. I beat them because two of them was rookie and recently had come to West Blood City to train. Today is the day I will start my advanced combat class. They will teach 2 days a week, 6 hours per day. I am sitting in the hover car with Ashlyn traveling toward the middle ring. That is where the classes were held. It took us half an hour to the middle and 10 minutes from there to reach classes center. I got out of the hover car as I reached my destination. First thing gaze fell giant structure, which had Addison Training Center written in the big bold letter. The building is about 50 stories tall, oval structure, which seems to exclude strength. Hundreds of people coming and going outside of the building could be seen. Seeing all these people, I also entered the building. When I entered the building, I was greeted by the large lobby. It is very big, more than 5 times bigger than lobby in my building. People could be seen entering and exiting from the rows of elevators, and tens of projection screen are showing information on each floor and services it offers. The projector screens are showing the services the training center is offering. I was a little shocked seeing the list of them. Aside from advanced combat classes, it also has a gravity room, gravity training, monster battle, etc. Curiously, I checked the rates of services. Seeing the rates, my eyes went wide. Advanced combat styles are one of the cheapest ones, whilst gravity training and monsters battle is one of the expensive. I've heard that these courses help a lot in increasing one's power, but they too expensive. Addison Training Center is one mediocre one. There are many high-end training centers in Middle and Central Ring, but they're too expensive for me to consider. There's still half an hour till my class starts. I decided to wait beside the class in the lobby. I got out elevator on the 6th floor. This is where my class is. When I reached my class, I saw 50-something people already there waiting for the present class to end. There's a big glass which separates the class from the waiting area. My expression turned quite funny when I look 100-something people performing extremely weird moves. Not all people are doing that. Only half of them, while another half just huffing their breaths. They look like they have run 100 km race and just resting, and some 10 or so people are laid unmoving on their mats. They look they're unconscious, and there is any looking instructor who seemed to shout those who were not performing, and he even kicked the one who looked unconscious. Is this Night Blade class? I said, I'm really confused. I thought I will see people swinging their blades in different style, or 2 people sparring on teacher's induction, but here I see people with no practice weapon on side performing weird exercise while teachers shouting and kicking them. It is really out of my expectations. Yes, it is Night Blade class. This class is 15 days ahead of us. He said, it really is our class. I would if able to perform such exercise. As time passes more and people unable to keep up with exercise, some people even fell unconscious. After some shouting and kicking some people, did the class end, and by the end of the class, only 19 people were able to perform till last. All people from the previous batch exited the hall, and we entered as hall become empty. There are still 15 minutes till class starts. The teacher seems nowhere. Seeing another door, he must have left through it. I hope we didn't get the same teacher as the previous class. I don't want to shout or kicked in front of all these people. All people took their places. There are about 100 people are present in the hall. Some talking while others silent, waiting for the instructor to come. It didn't take long, though. Soon the door opened and instructor walked in. He looked to be in the early 40s with a lean build. He had not released his aura soy, didn't know his level, and I didn't dare to check it with my speech, seeing his earlier actions. Listen well. I'm going to say this only once, said instructor in loud voice. Those who want to cancel this class can cancel it now. At least you will get half of the money back. He continued. This class is going to be very painful for you. Night Blade style, mainly focused speed and agility. You will have to perform many exercises that seemed hard or near impossible. I may curse you and hit, but I promise you once you successfully completed the course, you will see a noticeable change in your fighting power. So, those who want to leave can leave within 5 minutes, and by the way, you can call me Instructor Kelly, she said, and sat on a small podium waiting. All of us have come here to become stronger, and we already paid for it, so there is no question of leaving. Seeing no one leaving, Instructor Kelly smiled, but his smile has a little sadist tinge in it. Good, very good. You all are young men and women full of spirit. Now you just have to do what I say and do. While performing the exercise, you can use whatever skill, technique, move you want, Instructor Kelly said, and started instructing and performing exercises. The exercises at first were simple, such normal stretching and all, but soon it started to become a little complicated at times passes. Just when I thinking the instructor is good, and how he not angry and violent, as before I heard his voice that made me realize that previous opinion of him is true. "You fucking shit, number 29. Why do it like a sissy, do it like a man?" he shouted. All people stopped for a moment when they heard this shout, but quickly realizing if they dally, they will be his next target. He shouted at many people as time passed on. He is really killing us by making us do this god-awful exercise. I am currently standing on my single feet, while my other leg touching my head from behind, and I am standing in this position for 10 minutes. More than half of the students were already down, and the instructor already kicked for them in his annoyance. Only half time had passed in this 3-hour class. I already feeling sore all over my body, and the only thing that kept me going is that not want to become the target of his insults and kicks. As time passed, the exercise become more complicated, and new student fell, and every few minutes. If not for me creating the first seal in the exercise, I would have one people who fell or became unconscious due exhaustion. An instructor said we have to perform this for 3 months before we could learn any fighting moves. Then in 3 months we practice these exercises regularly at home. It will free every pressure point and pore of our body, automatically increasing our speed in combat. Bam! "You little sissy, you are worse than shit," our instructor shouted and kicked yet another unconscious girl. He had kicked more than 15 people, and there is no counting how many people he cursed in this past 2.5 hours. I am currently standing on palms of my 2 hands while legs are in the air in no style. It is really uncomfortable, and I am barely hanging on this pose for a few minutes. I have been performing this weird exercises for hours, and there is a half hour more till this class end. I don't know why, but after performing this exercise for half an hour, I feel like my energy draining at faster than normal rate, and I know I'm on my last leg. Everyone here is at LV3 of the private stage, and they have enough energy to run around for 12 hours constantly and not feels this drain that we are feeling right now. But somehow as we perform these exercises, we feel exertion as if had run around the city for day and night. I am counting seconds as they passed. "Change in position," shouted instructor. I sigh a relief for white, thinking I will get few seconds of rest while performing. Instructor soon started showing new position on holographic projection and correction posture of those who do it wrong. When I sign up for advanced combat class, I thought I will get chance to fight new people as I learn, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. As our instructor said it, we have to perform these weird exercises for 2 months before we could learn any concrete fighting style. "Rest," said instructor finally. I slowly unwind myself in the complicated position. "Your next class will be 3 days later at the same time. I recommend you perform their exercises at home for maximum benefits." "Class dismisses. You all can leave," said instructor. Hearing instructor saying the class is over, the class which as earlier had been full of gloom now turned lively. Those who were unconscious or were acting unconsciously suddenly became conscious with full of energy. I smiled seeing just minuet before we pain, but now we were jumping without care for sword muscle and tiredness. Nodding toward the boy I talked to earlier, I left the hall and walked toward the elevator. My walk is a little funny as I am feeling sore all over my body. I wanted to look at the other facilities of the training center, but I'm too tired to do that. Leaving the building, I ordered for hover car for the ride home. Choo-choo. Ashlyn comes out of me just as I sat on the hover car. She loves sitting on the hover car and watching scenery pass by. "Choo!" Ashlyn cried out as strong wind passed by her face. It is already evening and night is starry. The shining stars could be seen through the transparent roof of hover car. We got out of the middle ring and entered the outer ring. It will only take 10 to 15 minutes to reach my apartment. As I watching scenery pass by from the hover car window, I noticed a peculiar building. Adventurers Guild, Class 5 above the city has one. The status of this building is completely different, as no government or organization could touch it. Adventurers Guild, most popular place in West Blood City or any other city, it livelihood of millions of people. The minimum requirement to join the Adventurers Guild is one has to be a specialist grade evolver. I also want to quickly level up to specialist grade, so I could join Adventurers Guild. There are immense benefits joining it. With one as a member, one can post a job or receive the job from Adventurers Guild. Almost all business, organizations, and government post jobs on the Adventurers Guild. One can never return empty-handed from Adventurers Guild as long as one sufficiently powerful. Almost all adventurers sign up in the Adventurers Guild, and not only they, but the members of the various organization and government also sign up in the Adventurers Guild. Finding and posting a job isn't the only thing Adventurers Guild do. Its trading function is also popular. One can barter or auction any of his items on its platforms, with minute commission compared to another trading center. The current area I am hunting is the very outer edge of Miasta Forest. Except for monsters, nothing is there, but as one enters deeper into the forest, he will come across many resources. The resources in the deep area are many: rare herbs which used in making an expensive potion, ores and minerals for teens, exotic and powerful monster that can easily kill those above their level, all these in deep area. Many high-level adventurers enter deep into Miasta Forest for precious bounty that will make them rich enough to retire and live a comfortable life, while others go for practice and thrill for danger. I've heard that Adventurers Guild had constructed many bunkers inside Miasta Forest for adventurers for their safety and rest. Almost all the specialist grade evolvers in my apartment building are members of the Adventurers Guilds. Seeing them, I also wanted to join Adventurers Guild, but alas, I can't. I am not specialist grade yet. If Ashley keeps going in this pace, she will be able to evolve into specialist grade within 2 months, but it's all on premise on if she was able to evolve in current pace. But that is highly unlikely to happen. Ashlyn is low-strain monster, her progress detained to be slow. My parents' gray sparrows had taken 2 years to evolve into specialist from peak private stage. I'm not going to lament on her low strain. There have been many monsters who were able to level up quick speed despite their low strain and low talent. If they could then Ashlyn also could do that. I have full confidence in her. As I was in my deep thoughts, the hover car had already reached my apartment. I pick up Ashlyn in my hand and got out of the car and walked toward my apartment building. 10 minutes more, I said through my gritted teeth. Beads of sweat flooded my temple as all of my clothes were drenched with sweat. It's been a month since I've started attending advanced combat classes twice a week, and it's hell. Aside from the pain and extreme discomfort, this exercise like a sponge which sucks all of your energy. But there is the result, though. First, I half-hearted practice because the instructor had said, but when I went to hunting that week, it clearly saw improvement in me, although it was minute. I noticed it, but did not dwell on it. But in the second week, I went to hunting. I come across young razor mantis, which is known of its speed and blade-like sharp body parts. While fighting it, I noticed that my body had become very agile and free, and there no friction of muscle. When I use my sword, moves because of that I successfully able to run away from it. That is when I decided to practice wholeheartedly and practice daily at home. As the classes advanced, so is difficult, and soon it became difficult to last more than 2 hours. That is when I started to use moves of exercise. Through it, I was able to endure the 3 hours of exercise. It didn't help me circulate any advanced moves. It did help me with their smooth circulation. I now can instantly circulate up to 9th move within a second. Before, it used to take me a few seconds to reach the 9th move. I currently circulating 9th move of the exercise while performing this exercise. Only 2 exercises remain. I will be able to finish them in 10 minutes. I first used to practice at a training facility, but there were many problems there. Sometimes the private rooms were occupied, and in the open field, I got disturbed many times. Experiencing this, I decided to practice in my apartment. I just had to move some furniture to make enough that I could do exercise. Although my apartment had become cramped because of this, but adjustable. This pose is really weird. Both legs are wrangling on the waist, and my one hand is around my neck and other around my bottom. This pose by worst of all exercises I've ever performed. When our instructor, first time, all the hall rang out with laughter. Even our ever-stoic instructor had an uncomfortable expression. We only stopped laughing when our instructor started cursing through his gritted teeth. The good thing is this is the last pose, and I will be free after I perform this last pose. Choo-choo. Ashlyn also chirped seeing me like this. I can clearly sense mirth in her chirp. I just have to do it for 2 more minutes, then it will be finished. In the past month, I had gone hunting in the forest for 5 times and made little more than 500,000 credits selling monster materials. With it, I completely paid my fees of advanced combat class and have little over 100,000 left in my account. Ting, sound rang out my holowatch, and I relaxed from my position. I let out a sigh of relief as finally finished this god-awful exercise for today. Without wasting any time, I took my sweat-filled body to shower to get rid of all this filth. Traying. I was happily singing in the shower when my holowatch rang out. When I looked at watch who it was, it is Vince. He is one good friend I made in my advanced combat class. Hey, Vince. I said after activating the audio-only mode. Did you check the news feed of the Westblood City? Vice asked instead of greeting. What happened? I asked, feeling curious. I never heard Vice so serious and excited at the same time. It's all over the news feed. From the last midnight spatial disturbances started to occur in Green Hills. Many exotic monsters, herbs, minerals come out. Hundreds of people struck rich. He said I got shocked hearing this, but what he said next shocked me more. One of my friends found fist-sized mineral. It turned out very rare and sold for million credits. He said, my mind simply stopped working hearing this. You are not lying, right? I asked it too good be true. Struck rich overnight. I had a hard time believing what Vince is saying. I swear on my mother. It's not lying. He swore. It's not all fortune, though. There have been hundreds of deaths. The monsters that come out are really dangerous. Lower-level monsters are killing higher-level developers, he said. Lower-level monster killing higher-level evolver is really incomprehensible. Normally, lower-level evolvers easily kill the higher-level monster. I have to go now, Micheal. I already reached Green Hills. Call me if you came. He cut the call before I can ask any more questions. I quickly got out of the shower and started to check West Blood City's news feed. As I started reading, utter disbelief appeared on my face. What Vince said seemed true, but things are more complicated than he told me. Thousands of people had found fortune, but also death. They found more than thousands of bodies of people, and the majority of them were adventurers. The government and many organizations had put a barricade in our Green Hills area is big enough that they can't barricade on all. Millions of people from adventurers to organizations and government is already there, and many more are going by second. Not only low-level over, but high-level developers are also going there. To them, million is nothing. Killing one high-level monster can earn the millions. They are going because one adventurer had come across Mana Gem. Mana Gem is irresistible to high evolve. I don't know much about Mana yet. Only knew that they are an immense help to high-level evolver. The most disturbing thing is that thousands of low-level evolvers had disappeared mysteriously, and they are saying that these low-level evolvers must have stepped away in spatial getaway somehow. After carefully reading all the news feed, I decided to go. It will be dangerous, but if I luckily found some fortune, even a small one, that will help me in a big way. I changed into my adventuring clothes, wore my armor, and packed me a backpack and left my apartment. The elevator is nearly packed by people, and from their getup and looks, it seems like all of them going toward the Green Hills. Beep! A notification rang out on my holo as got out of the elevator. It is mail from Jim. It is just like Vince informing me about the Green Hills. It just Jim mail had additional information of Green Hills that wasn't shown on news. It will be very helpful to me when I reach the Green Hills. I try to call him to say thank you, but he is not reachable. After trying calling him many times, I mail him thank you and waited for a cab to appear. It took me 20 minutes to get a cab from my apartment and have to wait more than an hour at my Asta Bazaar before I could get the second cab for Green Hills. The cab had charged me 4 times more than normal fare. Looks like these day cab companies going to earn a shitload of money. As I'm flying in the hover car, I see thousands of hover cars every second in the route of Green Hills. Usually seeing hundreds are very rare. Green Hills is not part of my Asta Forest. It is a different area which has a chain of small and big hills. It is a low danger area. Only specialist grade monsters were found there, and rarely any corporal level monster was found there, and that is why there are hundreds of small towns are around the Green Hills. It would take car little more than 3 hours to reach the Green Hills. Not wasting any time in the ride, I decided to view the information that Jim had to send me. Earlier in my apartment building, I just viewed it on the surface, but now that I carefully read it, it is quite detailed. Aside from mentioning safe areas and the areas which are occupied government and various organizations. He also mentioned the areas where most fortune and found. They found precious ores, exotic monsters, and mana gems. People have been going crazy over mana gems. A thumb-sized mana gem had been selling for millions of credits. It is written here that there is some kind of spatial disturbance over Green Hills, and only corporal level or below evolver can venture inside. Many sergeant grades, master grade, and other high-level evolvers try to venture inside, but most of them were cut by spatial tides. Only those below corporal level can remain unaffected by it. But spatial tides were least of their worries. Many dangerous monsters, said, have come out spatial passageways. It said some of the monsters are completely different from those that are found in the continent. These peculiar monsters are very dangerous and attack at first sight. That's not a bad thing. The bad thing is that they're extremely dangerous and same-level developers are no match for them. And disturbingly many of revolvers are disappearing every second. Jim said that some kind of unstable space realm had coincided with the space of Green Hills and had disappeared once or probably accidentally entered this space realm. Space realms are not a new thing. I've heard of them. There are many space realms across the Republic, but all of them in control of government and organizations, and only their elites can train there. There are many types of space realms. They appear and disappear at specific time cycle. Some are stable that they are always opened, and some like this one that opened on the Green Hills, unstable and dangerous. Still, many people go there despite a high chance of dying. It is all because of fortune, because once they have stuck rich, they can easily retire and live off their life spending that fortune. After reading all the information that Jim had sent, I changed the course of hovercar. I decided to go west side of Green Hills than previously decided south side. West side is dangerous, but many people had found fortune there. I will not enter deep and only scourge on the outskirt. I still love my life more than any fortune. Soon, I reached the west side of Green Hills, and my hovercar stopped at the entrance of a small town. As I stepped out of hovercar, I saw thousands of hovercar coming and going, dropping thousands of people every minute. The town looked small. Not more than 1,000 houses are there, but now there are thousands of camps surrounding the town. Not just people, there are hundreds of makeshift shops. Are there selling all kinds of things an adventurer will need? This is only one town. There are hundreds of towns are surrounding Green Hills. These spatial tides are probably both blessing and curse for the townspeople. They will earn enough money in a week that they probably earn in the year, but they also have bear all unruly adventurers in their town. Fortunately, I have everything I need in my backpack. After asking around some people, I left after choosing my destination. I have come across many people on the some were alone, while others were in groups, but just as I got near Hill's crowd began to thin out, and as I about entered the boundary of the hill, I barely saw anyone. I activated both my armors and sword. I heard many dangerous monsters had come out of it. I don't want to be entangled by them. I don't have any high hopes. I just come here to try my luck. Even if I didn't find any fortune, I will not be sad. It is already late afternoon. I will spend a maximum of 3 hours in the hill before going back to the town, as I already paid for the tent space to the town. As I walk upward toward the hill, I've come across many private grade monsters, but I killed them while walking. I about reached the top of the hill when I heard some sound. I quietly walked toward it. When I got close, I spotted the body of the monster. The monster is definitely dead, seeing its position. I wasn't able to tell which monster's body it, as half of its body hidden by brambles, but on careful observation, I think it's probably blankhorn antelope. The sound is still coming from it. I can't see clearly what made the sound, as the body is already half hidden. Making my mind, I walked closer to it when my eyes fell on the body. I got startled because I found cute monster cub of a tiger eating the heart of the antelope. I don't know what monster it is, but one of the cuties I've seen, it white, but all over its body had blue lines. These blue lines are radiating enchanting blue glow, which kind of looked like blue fire. I don't know what species of tiger monster it is, but looking at its size and its level, it's probably still a cub, means it is eligible for bonding. If I am able to capture and sell it, I will able quite some of the money. Even if it is a useless monster, many girls will buy it just because of its looks. I was about to move to capture it when I carefully looked at the dead monster body. From the size of its body, it is a specialist grade monster, its body full of claw marks, and they're probably 3 inches, but when I looked at the size of claw, my heat stopped. because they're the same size as a little tiger. Seeing it, fear filled my eyes, and I started to retreat slowly and silently, but it was too late. The cub had already noticed me. It looked at me with its cute round eyes. It looked completely harmless, but soon its mouth suffused with a smile. It looked extremely mocking and cruel. Suddenly, 3-inch blue claws come out of its paws, and it jumps toward me to attack. Clank! Thud, thud. As its claws and my sword touched, I felt the immense force that knocks me back. It is a good thing, and that I speedily circulated the 10th move of exercise within a minute, but all aside, that little cub still caught me off guard. Clank, clank, clank. It started the attack with stopping. Its speed is so fast that I'm barely able to counter it. Slice! See, I let out sound as its claws touched my neck, drawing a thin line of blood. I was barely able to survive that claw, but I still can't control my heartbeat because of that. I started retreating while trying to circulate the move of the exercise. Clang, clang, slice. I got another scratch, but this time it is my cheeks. Ashlyn wanted to come out, but asked her to stay put. I can still handle this. I don't know if this little monster alone or had any other accomplices. Ashlyn would be very useful if any little tiger's accomplices appeared. Clang! I'm finally able to reach the 11th move, but it is no use. This monster still has upper hand. A sound come out of my mouth as I felt sudden heat. All greenery disappeared. When I looked around, I find myself at a completely different place. Shit! I cursed out loud. I accidentally entered the space realm. One moment I was surrounded by greenery, and next moment I am a completely barren landscape. Fuck, 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 fuck. I cursed again. Unstable spaces are always like this. You can never predict anything with them. Fuck, fuck, fuck. I cursed out loud. I fucking entered this spatial realm, and an unstable one at that. After cursing a few minutes, I calmed myself. It's not the end of the world. From what I know, thousands of people entered the spatial realm accidentally, and many of them from various organizations and government. They will not stand idly by, and will do something to rescue the people. Now what I have to do is find some people. I didn't see the sun in the sky, but I'm feeling uncomfortable sun rays. Except for barren earth, there's nothing I could see. I have enough food and water which would last me for 2 days. In 2 days, I have to find a new source of food and waters. Choo-choo. I asked Ashlyn to come. She had wanted to come out for some time. Ashlyn, see if you could find something from high above, I said, but then I remember something. Quickly look and come down. There are many dangerous monsters are here. I reminded her, many dangerous monsters had come out that spatial tide, and that tiger monster that I fought earlier was only a private grade, but I barely able counter its moving. Choo-choo. She chirped an affirmation and flew away in the sky. When I looked at her in the sky, I had to shield my eyes from intense sun rays. Come out of my mouth because I noticed something peculiar about this environment. I noticed that mana I am inhaling is many times purer than that in the Republic. It is a very good thing for me. My man purity is currently at 71%. If I spend 10 days in this realm, I am pretty sure my mana purity could reach 75% purity. I take a deep breath. It felt good, but also very hot. I can feel Ashlyn is very near me. I just can't see her with this intense sun rays. Chew. Ashlyn smoothly landed on my shoulder. Did you find something? She nodded and started to wave her wings toward the west. Good job, Ashlyn, I said and patted her. I started to walk toward west while she flew ahead. I already cautioned her to fly low, and if she saw any flying monster, she had to inform me quickly. I walked toward the direction that Ashlyn mentioned for 2 hours, but there is no change in scenery. All I saw was barren land. I even began to doubt the way I am walking. After checking compass many times, did I feel sure that I am walking in the right direction. Choo-choo. I heard Ashlyn's urgent chirp as she flew toward me urgency. I can even sense little fear from her emotions, seeing that I quickly activated my sword and armor and circulated the moves of exercise to peak. Choo. Ashlyn quickly come closer and started to flew around me. I didn't see any monster, but Ashlyn saw, then must be closer. Soon I spotted a black spot in the air, and it is coming toward me. I got the good look at it as it came closer. It is some kind of eagle monster. It is black and gray color and about half of my size. Screech. Swish. It screeched loudly and flapped its wing. A light black wind blade come out its wings. Shit, I said, seeing the wind blade. The wind blade is the same size as me and speedily coming toward me. It looked really dangerous. I prepared a counter, but wind blade was halfway in the air. Ashlyn threw palm-sized fireball at the wind blade. In the past 1 month, Ashlyn and I are both working on our abilities. Now Ashlyn can make palm-sized swirling fireball. Bam! Sounded as fireball and wind blade met at air, but soon that wind blade comes out a blast. It looked a little dim, but still feels lethal. Shing! Metallic sound come out as wind blade, and my sword touched. I easily countered the wind blade without any obstruction. Screech screen. Monster Eagle screeched loudly and quickly sent 2 wind blades one after, at seconds different successively. Ashlyn also threw a fireball. But Ashley able to slow down only 1 wind blade, as she can't successively summon 1 fireball after another. She has to take little rest between every fireball. I dodged the first wind blade, but second, I have to count with a sword as it is right behind the first one. Shining, a big force came to my sword, countered the wind blade. It is forceful, but not enough to make me take a step back. Shit! I cursed, as I saw that eagle coming toward me. Its sharp talons could easily pierce my skull. Ashlyn released a fireball. Seeing a fireball coming toward it, it didn't dodge, but dived toward it. Boom! Rang out as fireball hit monster, but soon monster comes out of fireball unscathed. Not even its feathers were burned. Seeing those sharp talons coming toward me, I moved my sword to counter. Clang! Rang out, and seeing it attack had failed, it flew away in the sky using my sword as leverage. Screech! Screeching loudly in the sky, it again attacks with wind blades, but this time it attacks with 3 wind blades consecutively and follow behind. It wanted to attack me while I am busy with wind blades. Ashlyn, leave wind blades to me and try to stall monster with a fireball. Ashlyn nodded with her head while creating a swirling fireball. The fireball didn't do any damage to the monster, but it stalls it for a second. That will be enough for me to deal with wind blades. Shing, shing, shing. Clang! My plan worked perfectly fine. With time brought by Ashlyn fireball, I am able to deal with 3 wind blades and monster later. It started to attack with the same pattern every minute. Thank God that it can release only 3 wind blades at one time. With flawless teamwork of Ashlyn and me, we were able to resist the attacks of the monster. Our fight was going on for more than 1 hour. I can clearly understand its strategy. It wanted to tire me out with a constant attack before killing me. It probably never come across with human, or it wouldn't be this dumb. With it constantly attacking me for 1 hour, I have already made a plan to kill it in 1 move. In the past 10 minutes, I've been acting tired, showing how difficulty I'm having to resist its attacks. I even let its talons scratch my face, but now the time had come to finish this fight. Screech! It attacked with 3 wind blades consecutively and followed behind with its talons in front like always. Ashlyn also releases her fireball to delay the monster. As I dodge and counter 3 wind blade, it comes right behind and attacked me with its talons. Clank! Thud! I took 2 steps back while countering its claws. Seeing this, it moves its claw forward to attack me with second time, but this time its claw's speed is very slow that I can easily dodge. Dodging its claws, I speedily move my sword toward its neck. It goes wide. Seeing this, no matter how stupid the monster is, it can always sense it's dead before it ends. Slice thud! I decapitated it in a single move, and it fell on the ground with a loud thud. I quickly removed and packed the heart of the eagle monster and strode away from the fight scene after burning the monster's body. I can't predict the time as there is no sun in the sky, but feeling sun rays had to become less intense. I can tell that evening will come within 2 hours. I hope I can see another human at that time. This walking alone in barren land started getting into my head. It has been more than an hour since I killed the eagle monster, but I did not see any greenery. Except for a few cactuses, there is no plant in this barren land. Are you sure we going in right direction, Ashlyn? I asked. It's been 5 hours since I entered this space realm and more than 4 hours since I am walking, but I didn't not any sign of the forest that Ashlyn spotted on the sky. Choo choo choo. Ashlyn chirped in affirmation annoyingly. I already asked this question to her more than 10 times since we started walking. Even I felt bad asking her question repeatedly. I asked Ashlyn to search forest, because that where I will find another person, People tend to travel toward a place where enough food and water is present, and the forest is a prime location for that. Forget the forest. I didn't see the sign of an oasis which are found in barren places. This wasteland really feels weird. I was walking as usual when I spotted little green dot far ahead. It is barely noticeable. I started to walk speedily after half an hour that green dot and turned small outline. Ashlyn, that is forest, right? I asked her. I was sure what I am seeing is real or not. She flew away from my shoulder and came down within minutes. Choo-choo, she affirmed excitedly, hearing her excited chirp. I broke in a run toward that outline, but reality is harsh. After running for an hour, that outline had only become little larger. I have to walk for a few hours to reach it there, and that is not possible today, as sky already started turning dark. After walking 15 minutes, I decided to stop for today, as the sky had already tuned half dark, and within half an hour, the sky will darken whole. I look around for a good spot for camp. Some distance away, I spotted a big boulder. The boulder is thrice my size and will be a perfect shield against any surface monster's vision. I removed the palm-sized square box from my backpack. This is the thing I brought at 70,000 credit last week. I felt quite conflicted when I brought it. I wanted to buy a new sword as it is a little damaged, but weighing pro and cons, I brought this. This is the first time I will be using this. Putting it only the drought, I pressed the button at the top. Just as I pressed the button, it started to expand, and within a minute, it turned into a camp. It is big enough that 3 people comfortably sleep inside. I opened its flap and went inside. Inside a quite plain, but comfortable. It is grade 1 utility type artifact. It is barely qualified to grade 1 artifact, as it had defended against specialist grade monster, but here it only defends against private stage monster. It also had sensors which will notify me if any living being come inside its 100 meters range. I don't have to provide it mana to activate it. It runs on the monster core. I'd already put monster core inside it the past week. It will stay activated for 5 days. Putting my backpack down, I removed a few things from my backpack: a monster's heart that killed earlier, a bottle of spices and oil, and adjustable utensils. I walk outside the camp taking these. I inject my mana into fist-size utensils, changing them to normal size. I added oil in a pan and started to heat it with fire I summoned. I want to cook the monster heart with species. This is my first time cooking monster food. I had little experience in cooking, but cooking normal food and monster are different. I started to cook the food in the direction of a recipe that read in passing. I asked Ashlyn to keep an eye out while I am cooking. Some monster may come toward our following the smell. The mouth-watering smell started to come out cooked meat. After checking it's cooked enough, I stopped the fire and went inside the camp. I decided food in 2 plates for both of us and started to eat. Ashlyn started to dig before I even touched my fork. Seeing she is complaining about the food, I also started to eat. It's better than expected, I thought as I stated the food. It is not as good as the food we ate in our apartment, but it's quite good for the rookie cook. After eating dinner, I slept early as I feeling tired both physically and mentally. Ting, ting. I woke up by the sound of the alarm. When I opened the flap of the tent, it is still dark outside. Looking at the dim light, it will take an hour to the sky to fully brighten up. Freshening up quickly, I heated last night's leftovers. Choo-choo. Ashlyn woke by its smell and started demanding the food. Little glutton, I said and served her plate. In the past month, I'm many times trained with Ashlyn, but there's no change in her weight. She looks chubby, as usual. It became visible when I packed my camp, although I can't see the forest outline for us because it's still a little dark, but I know the general direction of it. After walking half an hour, the sky had fully brightened, and I can see the forest outline. I will have to walk for 3 hours to reach it, but if I quicken my pace, it will be even more sooner. As I reached near the forest, I started spotting monsters now and then, and because Ashlyn early reminding me, we were able to avoid most of them while one being adamant in fighting which I have to kill it. It took me 4 hours to reach near the forest, that I see its lush trees. As I walked near, I heard the fighting sound. When I got close enough, I saw 3 people surrounded by 20-something monster wolves. Seeing this, I quickly retreat back and hide behind the small mound. I quickly asked Ashlyn to come inside me as I sneakily hide behind the dry tree trunk. I would have hidden in the better place, but there is no spot near me which could hide my body perfectly. I don't want to run because once they caught the sight of me, I will be dead. Seeing I am well hidden, I took out binocular from my backpack. After carefully looking at the wolves, I guesses which monster species these wolves are. They're ice wolves from elemental wolves family, as this particular shade of white coat only ice wolves had. Due to the distance between us, I can't accurately sense their level, but looking at monster sizes, I am sure that they're definitely specialist grade, and their 2 leaders are at corporal grade. The wolves are howling at the 3 people, of which 2 are boys and 1 is a girl, but there's something weird going on there. The wolves are just howling at them, as if thinking attack or not. I don't know what exact level of these 3 people, but they are definitely younger than me, so they most probably at private grade, and if I am generous with my estimation, then they would be at specialist grade. This is why I don't understand why aren't these wolves are attacking. There's another peculiar thing that 3 youths seemed very relaxed. So relaxed that they hadn't drawn out their weapons. I can think of only 2 reasons for their relaxing posture in this time of peril. Either several corporal grade evolvers were hiding and using these 3 people as bait, or these 3 people had a trump card that could threaten the ice wolves. Ill, with former than latter. I want to see the corporal grade evolver, only they will have enough information about this realm. The howling of ice wolves became increasingly loud, and some beta wolves even tried to attack, but they are stopped halfway by the 2 leaders. The leaders of ice wolves seem cautious and patient, but their patience also thinning out. They will likely to attack any second. My guess was right. The ice wolves attack at next second by showing 3 people with their sharp ice projectiles. As I'm sure these people would turn into skewed meat if they did not call reinforcement or use their trump cards, but what happened next left me startled. 3 blue-colored light shields appeared in front of 3 people, which defended them from sharp icicles from ice wolves. There was not scratch appeared on the shield as they defended the attack, but their problem is just started as all the 20-something wolves coming toward them. 1 boy and girl shrank their shield to arm size while activating their sword, while another boy completely forgoes shield and activated his warhammer. It is the same size as his, and he had to use his both hands to wield it. As the ice wolves came closer, they attacked. I got immensely startled by their attacking speed. Even attacks are 20-something wolves. These 3 people attacked unhesitatingly. Their attacks are swift and ruthless. Every swing of their weapon hit the monster, never missing their target. The wolves can seem to touch despite their quantity, not only attacking, but they are also defending skillfully. Even the boy who is using warhammer didn't get hit by any attack of ice wolves, as he expertly using his warhammer to attack and defend. When I looked at their attire, I noticed it looked similar to that of what Jim and his girlfriend wore that day, but these 3 people's attire seemed higher quality than theirs. It means that their people had done artifacts all over their body. Everything they wore is an artifact, armor, shoes, shield, etc. The battle raged on the wounds on monsters' bodies are increasing. Although their wounds didn't look life-threatening, they got piled up, it will be very life-threatening. The 2 leaders did not sit idle. Now and then both the leaders sneakily attack with a sharp icicle, but at every time dodged or defended by 3 of them. As the times passed on, the wounds on the bodies of the monsters became heavy with injury and killed by a boy with warhammer as he squarely hit the monster on its head. As I watched the fight, I understand few things about these 3 people. First is they are extremely proficient in combat. This proficiency only comes from fighting hundreds of fights. Second, they're using their advanced combat technique very skillfully. Using it became instinct to them. And last is what shocked me to the core. I am pretty sure that all 3 of them had created the 10 seals of supreme combat exercise. Their physical prowess is extremely great. As soon warhammer of that boy hit the monster, its bones broken, and it is very, very difficult to break bones of a monster with a single move. That is why I always go for weak spots of monsters such as eyes and neck. The 2-sword user isn't any worse than a boy with warhammer. Every attack of their sword left a deep gash on their skin. Seeing their kin dying every few minutes, the leaders jumped into the fight without caring there may be other people hiding. As the 2 leaders joined the fight, it put the strain on the 3 people, but they are still fighting back despite leaders joining the fight. There are only 15 monsters are left, including 2 leaders. Currently, the fight is in the stalemate. No side is gaining upper hand in battle. Suddenly, weapons of 3 of them started to glow, and Lion's Phantom had appeared on them. Soon they phantom became more corporal and big. Seeing something is not right, the wolf leader started to attack more aggressively, but it was already as 3 youths had waved their swords same time, and 3 giant phantoms left the swords. The ice wolf started to dodge the attack, but phantoms were too fast as it swiftly enveloped all of the wolves inside. This is definitely a skill. Half skill does not have this much power. I am really confused right now. Isn't the skill can only be used by corporal stage or above? This skill had drained too much of their mana, as 3 of them quickly removed potions from their pockets and drank it. Mournful cries of wolves can be heard where I am hiding. In a minute, the phantoms started dispersing. As the phantoms dispersed, I get the clear look the wolves. All ice wolves look lifeless except for 2 leaders. Seeing all their kin dead, instead of fighting, the wolves broke into a run, but before they could go run any far, the Toucan bow and fired the 2 shots. The arrows of her hit ice wolves' skulls, and the monster fell. I feel dazed seeing this. That girl only uses 2 shots to kill 2 corporal level ice wolves. I'm still in a daze when the 3 of them started walking without looking at the bodies of ice wolves. Hey, I called out loudly. Seeing them walking away, seeing how powerful they are, they must know some information about this realm. Hearing my shout, they stopped. I started to run toward them as I had many questions to ask. As I got near enough to sense their level, I stopped on my track. That I nearly fell. It's like lightning had struck me hard. I thought 3 of them at specialist grade and can kill above their level, but I was so wrong. Their level, all 3 of them are the peak of private grade, same as me. Then how the fuck are they able to kill corporal grade monster while being at private grade? I asked myself loudly. I stopped on my tracks, seeing all of them are at private grade. It really incomprehensible to think they can kill the monsters 2 grade above easily. And these monsters were not normal monsters either. They're many times stronger than the normal monsters back home. Hey, what happened to you? Said Hammer Welding Boy snappily, which brought me out my stupor. Are you all from the West Blood City? I asked. I know they're not from the West Blood City. Their strength is completely different level compared to elites in the Republic. I watched many videos on the web and come across many elites of the organization while hunting, but I've never seen anyone have fighting prowess to skip 2 grades in combat. No, we are from the Central Continent, replied the girl in their team. Central Continent? I asked back. I know there are other continents besides ours, but I never heard Central. Central Cont. She's just answering my queries when other boy cut in. Nina, enough chit-chatting. If we waste our time here, we will lose to the other teams. Look, friend, we are in a hurry, so ask whatever you want to ask quickly, said the other boy. I had accidentally entered this spatial realm. Do you know how to get out of it? I asked. I just want to quickly get out of this realm. God knows what will happen if I stayed longer. These type unstable space realms are extremely dangerous. Looks like this realm had formed 2 connection. No, we don't know. We have our own entrance, he said. I got disappointed hearing that. Did you encounter any new people since yesterday? I asked. This is the only choice I have. Find people from the West Blood City and try to find a solution with them. The government will not leave this much person stranded. They will do something rescue us. Yes, we did. 50-something people were fighting some grade 3 monsters deep inside the forest. I don't suggest you go inside before finding reinforcement, he cautioned. My mood worsens as he said they are inside the forest, and he mentioned that there are lots of corporal monsters are there. I don't think most of them will survive, seeing the strength of the monsters in this space realm. Let me give you the map we have. Girl named Nana offered said, and sent my map into my holowatch. Thank you, I said, giving me the nod. They left in a hurry. Looking at their actions, some sort of competition is going on here. This means my earlier conjecture is wrong. This realm is quite stable, but that doesn't make it any better for me, as here any specialist grade monster is a danger to me. The new I've read before coming into Green Hill said that there are approximately 5,000 people had disappeared, so I can find many other people who had accidentally entered this realm. I opened the map that girl named Nina had given me. This realm is a lot bigger than I thought. The map is expertly drawn a map with all the details, and I can say that they had already scoured this realm and using it for training. Taking Space Realm is stable. I don't have to worry about its collapsing anymore. And now that I am free from that worry, I can relaxedly decide my next course of action. I've decided to walk by the outskirt of forest, which is less dangerous than the depth of the forest. It will take some time, but I will eventually find some people. I looked at the 24 bodies of ice wolves. They didn't even look at bodies after they killed it. So much wealth. I quickly started to take out their cores. These cores alone sell for 300 credits. Except for cores, I took out some meat and hearts of the corporal stage monster for eating. All these ice wolves' bodies worth more than million credit, but I can't take them with me. My heart pains seeing so many credits going waste. I started to walk the outskirt of the forest. I still didn't dare to enter inside, fearing I've come across any specialist grade monster. I have enough water for now, but I have to remove it from the trees later. It feels good to walk in the shadow to trees, feeling light breeze of air, but all can change in a minute if any monster spotted me. It's only been 2 hours since I started walking by outskirts of the forest, but I've already come across more than 10 private grade monsters. I've barely able to avoid their notice, but one time I've caught by the group of hundreds some scarlet crows, and they all were at specialist grade. I had got so scared seeing them, and was about to fight them, when luckily Ashlyn noticed hollowed tree trunk inside the bushes. I quickly hide inside it, although I had to stay inside cramped space for a half an hour, and the monster was still searching for me above. That was a hell of an experience. I would have surely died if not for a timely finding hiding spot. It's like every minute I am walking on the tight rope of life, and death, if a strong monster notices me, then it will be my death. It is a good thing that this realm's limit is corporal grade. Otherwise, it would have been many times dangerous. Cry! I heard faint cry from the sky. Without looking up, I scrambled to find a hiding spot. Seeing no notable spot except for the tree, I crouched down at the base of the tree. Making myself small as possible, I pray that whatever is coming didn't notice. Craning my neck a little, I looked at the sky. Most of my view is obstructed, but I can still see between the cries. The cries of birds getting louder and louder. I'm sure that monsters will fly above me within a second. HNN comes out my mouth when I saw that 3 yellow birds big as me flew above, and right behind them are the group of 100-something scarlet crows. I am sure I saw a human silhouette on the birds, and these crows were probably the same crows as that come after just earlier. Sighing, I picked my backpack and started to walk. Finding more people is utmost important. This is the only way of returning home. After walking for an hour, I come across battle scene. There's a signs of battle all over it, especially swords marks on the trees and specialist grade monster's carcass. Looking at small destruction it caused around it, both monster and human probably at specialist grade, and these signs of battle looked quite fresh, only a few hours old. I quietly follow the marks left behind. The person is definitely got injured while fighting the monsters, otherwise he wouldn't have left such visible trail. He or she probably hiding in a secure spot while healing their wound. As I walk ahead, it is getting difficult to detect the trail. He would have recovered enough to hide his trail from the monster, but I could see the faint tresses through my armature eyes. I did not have much experience in following the trail, but I read about it in details and many times put into use while hunting. Ever since I entered this realm, my refinement had been going very well. I am pretty sure my mana purity would reach 75%, seeing how concentrated this world mana is, and also because of meat of corporal grade monster I am carrying in my backpack. My stomach growled as I thought of food. I haven't eaten anything since morning, and there are only 2 hours till evening. I can't eat anything despite me and Ashlyn feeling hungry. There are many dangerous monsters are here, and I can't relax for any second, even for eating. Slice! I killed a monster. It is mid-stage private grade monster. It tried to sneak attack me, but I killed it. I have killed many of these monsters as I come across them. I only hide from those who are harder to kill or those I can't kill. As I follow the trail, I've come across the small hills and trail just disappeared. There are no signs of broken twigs and crushed. It's like a sign suddenly gone. There are 2 ways that could happen. One is either he flew away self or with his monster, or he is hiding nearby. I'll think it's former. If he had an ability to fly, he would have flown away earlier, not walk all the way here. That means he is hiding nearby. I would have shouted if not for fearing the monsters will hear it. I look carefully around me. He may be hiding beside me. This is full of dried shrubs and vines. I sigh in defeat as I failed to find the person. I am back toward the place which I noticed when I was following the trail earlier. It looks quite safe to spend the night. I am just walking past the hill when something caught my eye, and the dried vines on the left side of the small hill looked a little peculiar than rest. I activated my sword and walked toward it cautiously. When getting near enough, I moved the vines with my sword. I am right, I said. Behind the vines is a small cave entrance. The vine is narrow enough that only person at time could walk it. My guess was right. The vines around the cave entrance are too dense, as it was clearly a man's work. No monster could do this perfect. Keep a close eye behind Ashlyn, I said to Ashlyn as she is resting on my shoulder. Choo-choo, she chirped in affirmation. I light small fireball in my palm, while keeping sword activated and other for unseen circumstances. I noticed some human footprints as I walk into the cave, and they looked fresh. Earlier I was only 70% sure, but now I am 100% sure that there's someone inside the cave. I walked for 5 minutes before I reached the end of it, but there is a problem. Its entrance is blocked by a giant rock. Dumb hub. Hello. Is someone inside? I said as I knocked on a rock with the grip of my sword. I could have cut down the rock with my sword, but will be disrespectful to whoever inside. Who are you? A voice from behind the rock. It's the female voice, and sound young. From her voice, she seems around my age. I am Micheal from West Blood City, I said. I deliberately said West Blood City. Whoever is inside is from Westbound City. I think that because seeing prowess of those who from the central continent, they wouldn't need to hide in the cave, even if she were alone, at least in the outskin. Growling, the big stones stars to slide. I thought I would see them, but I saw the monster sliding the rock. It is a stone panda. It looked a little roughed up. It must have fought some battle recently. The stone panda looks like it made of gray and brown rock and are a class 3 strain monster. It is a common monster and usually is a little expensive than a common monster because of its cuteness. This one looked about 1 meter tall. Stone panda monster usually grew up to 2.5 meters. They usually gave their partner higher defense and strength, and some luckily partners get stone skin. My one classmate also has bonded with the stone panda, but his was arm size and looked cuter than one front of me. Seeing enough space had made, I entered inside the cave, but when I saw Monster's partner, I got shocked. You, and she said in unison, I know her, she lives in the same building as me, and she's the first girl I talked to in my apartment building. Her condition did not look good. She looked quite injured and using her clothes as bandages, which made her look bloody and half naked. The only things that are good shape are her artifacts. I even saw monster material beside in makeshift bag which made out of her clothes. I didn't see her backpack or any emergency bag. She must have lost it some way. She tried to activate her armor to cover her body, but failed to do so. Her looked injuries quite worse than I expected. Here, I said, and quickly removed healing potion from my pocket and gave her. I felt little pinch, giving as I only had 3, 1 medium grade 1 healing potion and 2 low grade 1 healing potion. I just gave her medium grade 1, which is mostly used by specialist grade. Thank you. She did not reject it and took with her feeble hands. She opened a bottle and drank it and lost conscious within second. Growl. The panda monster quickly comes to the front of its partner and growled at me as a warning. Seeing its warning, I backed down a little. She is probably too tired and injured to stay awake. She will wake up when her injuries healed a little. I smile seeing Panda threateningly stand in front of her partner defending her. From the monster action, I can see that their bond is very strong. I didn't take a good look at the cave ever since I entered. It is quite big, its area about 400 feet in oval shape. There is a small stream of underground water flowing through the cave, and the cave had a natural source of light from the crystal above the cave. This cave is perfect for one life, if one smoothed out the jagged floor of the cave. Seeing she wouldn't wake for at least 1 hour, I put my backpack down and laid out the camp after finding a smooth surface. I have been feeling sweaty since yesterday. Since the cave had a stream of fresh water, I should enjoy well and take a bath. There is small, all-natural partition of rock by the stream, which good for privacy. As I come out of the stream, feeling fresh, I felt the sharp gaze on me. I smiled seeing little monster taking its job seriously. Choo-choo. Ashlyn chirped saying she is feeling hungry and make food for quickly. Okay, I'll make now. I'm also feeling very hungry, seeing today we only ate it once, and that is at early morning. I brought out cooking utensils and cooking material out camp and started preparing food. I enlarged the pan to large size, seeing I am making food for 4 people. I only took monster parts of corporal stage monster, and I am really excited to taste the meat of the corporal grade monster, but I am taking caution cooking it. I'm only using a few pieces of heart, while rest is normal meat of corporal grade monster. I've read many times that people got fatally injured and die by eating high-energy food. I felt the gaze of 2 monsters staring at the pan hungrily as I am cooking when I looked at the panda monster. I even saw saliva dripping from its mouth. The food has started to smell really good, even I felt ravenous as I see meat in the pan. This will be my first time tasting the meat of corporal grade monster. I noticed the movement behind my back. When I looked up, I saw she had woken up. Some color comes back on her skin as she looked much better than earlier. "How are you feeling?" I asked while stirring the pan. "Much better. Thank you for the potion," she said. "It's nothing," I replied, and we stayed silent for a while in a quiet, comfortable environment. "When did you enter this realm? How come you were so injured?" I asked. I saw the carcasses of monsters she fought earlier, and seeing she is at the peak of specialist grade, I don't think the monster she fought earlier can injure her this much. I have seen her fight many times in the training facility, and she has easily beaten those at the same level as her. Those 2 monsters can't injure her this much. Despite being stronger than the normal monsters, she must have been injured by some other monster earlier. She took a big sigh before answering my question. I had taken a mission of information collection from Adventurers Guild yesterday morning because the reward was high. I'm walking toward green hills from near town when I suddenly find myself a completely different place. She said, "Not even 5 minutes in this realm, I was attacked by a corporal level monster. If it was normal initial level monster, I would kill it or at least would have fatally injured it, but that monster way too strong for me to even injure." She shuddered as said this. I can totally understand her sentiment. In the back home, I could easily kill peak private stage monster with 1 swing, but here, it took me more than 1 hour to kill it. And there is no question about specialist stage monster. I have hidden and changed my way many times after seeing the specialist stage monsters. I've come across many corporal grade monsters on the way here while running from my kept eating injured. I've had many healing potions with, but they all used in healing my injuries. I even lost my backpack while running from monsters. She said, "Did you meet any people from West Blood or Central Continent?" I asked, her face saddened as she heard my question. "I did not see any people from West Blood, but I've seen many bodies on my way. I even recognized one boy. He used to live in our building," she replied. "Not many people were lucky as is. I can consider myself lucky one as I enter the wasteland, not the forest." As if remembering something, she asked me about me. "It were people from Central Continent you just mentioned?" she asked. I told her what occurred in the morning today, to spotting them and watching them killing corporal level monsters with ease. She had shocked expression on her face when heard this. She couldn't come to her senses for a while. "Are you telling the truth?" she asked in a serious voice, her voice clearly stating that she had a hard time believing this. All I said the truth. "The meat that I'm cooking now is from the corporal level monster that they had killed," I said, and cut fire as dinner is ready. "I have an extra battle suit in the back. I can give you if you want," I said after looking her tattered suit. I always keep 2 extra battle suit whenever I go to hunting, and this time I was out of 2 to 3 days, and for that I pack extra one, making them 3. "Okay," she said after some thinking. I quickly took out a battle suit from my backpack. These battle suits are specially made for outdoor training, so take half of the space of normal battle suit. "I am Rhea, by the way," she introduces herself as I giving her my battle suit. "Micheal," I said as I gave her my battle suit. She walked toward the water stream to bath. She did not go alone. Her monster also walks behind to protect her from prying eyes. The whole body is laced with dried blood. She must have been feeling terrible, feeling all blood and sweat dried around her body. "Choo-choo," Ashlyn protested as I serve her portion smaller than she usually eats. "It's corporal grade monster's meat, Ashlyn. You're not able to eat it fully," I said. "Choo-choo." She chirps in protest again, saying she doesn't care. She will eat a regular portion that she eats daily. "You glutton. First, you finish this plate, and if you still feel hungry after eating it, I will give you more," I said exasperatedly. "Choo-choo-choo." She chirped again, asking why are they getting bigger portion than her. because they're at specialist grade when you evolve in specialist grade. You'll also get more food, I said. Chuckle. I heard a chuckle from behind. It Rhea, who came out after taking a bath. She looked very beautiful with black eyes and hair, and had a certain charm about her that attracts people to her. All her outer injuries mostly healed, just marks are remaining. They will be healed by the next morning. She must have listened to our conversation from behind. I just smiled awkwardly at her, getting a laugh out of her banter. Come sit. Dinner is ready, I said as I gave them their plates. Just as I was giving them plates, Rhea's panda monster took the plate with such nimbleness that I hadn't thought possible with such size. It took a plate from my hand, started to eat speedily. Its speed is comparable to Ashlyn. Ha! We both started to laugh, seeing it eating like Dee eats slowly. Food is not going anywhere, Rhea advises her monster, but it didn't listen. I got a little surprised knowing this panda is female. I thought it was male all along. When I looked beside me, I saw Ashlyn already finished eating and laid on her stomach with her eyes closed. It is an old habit of her. Whenever she overeats, she did sleep in this position. After I finished eating, I walked toward my tent, pressed a button top of it. It started to grow bigger. It changes in toe size. One is fit to sleep for 3 people, while other for 5. You can sleep in a tent. There is enough space for 2 people. I said she had lost her backpack with it. She lost her tent cloths, everything. She nodded without saying anything. They both had finished eating, and I am just about to take plates for cleaning. At least let me clean the dishes. I feel like useless taking all these favors from you, she said while taking the plates from my hat, and I nodded and left with dishes. I started to study the map sitting beside Ashlyn. This realm is bigger than I expected. It has 2 small forests and 1 mountain range. I'm going to sleep, Rhea said. I nodded toward her. She obviously hadn't slept since yesterday, and the past 2 days have been constant life and death struggle. If I had been her place, I would have succumbed to sleep already. As I'm studying the map, I started to feel a little hot at first. I thought I am just sweating due to little humidity, which had in a cave, but soon temperature started to increase, and my body started to sweat profusely, and my skin started to turn red. Fuck, I said and quickly checked on the Ashlyn. This little glutton looks fine except in sleep with her stomach down. I heaved a sigh of relief, seeing she is fine. I quickly smoothed the cave floor with my sword and started to perform positions I learned in advanced combat class, simultaneously operating my refinement engine at full speed while circulating the 10th move of exercise and trying toward the 11th circle, and I even activated the grade 1 armor I am wearing, which I can't kept activated more than 2 hours. The reason for my body turning red is the meat of corporal stage monster that I ate earlier. I've eaten more than I could handle. Now that extra energy is trying to find an outlet to come out. I have to use this energy quickly or results will be disastrous. Seeing my skin is still turning red, I started to perform those weird combat exercise more speedily. These weird moves have a specialty. They seem to zap energy from one's body, and slower you perform, the less energy it will take, and you'll feel less fatigue, but currently, I'm trying to perform it fast as I could. I'm also trying to operate refinement engine with all my might to take and purify more mana. As I am circulating the 10th move of exercise while trying on 11th, I crashed into the 11th circulation. Although pain is unbearable, but dying like cooked meat is more frightening. I am performing that weird combat exercise as fast as I could, but all it did recess down, burning my body a little. If I stop, my body will turn and cook shrimp within minutes. Times passes by. Soon it's been an hour since my skin started to turn red, but there are no changes except for I am circulating 12th circle of exercise. I used turn tired after I performed that weird exercise for how, and I did slowly, but here I am performing it very fast, but I didn't feel a speck of tiredness. I feel like water tank which filled out of its limit and can burst out any second. I don't know when Ashlyn woke up, but she is sitting top to the tent and looking at me with her mirthful eyes. This glutton, she ate the same as me, no? She ate little more than me, but she looked absolutely fine. Nothing seemed wrong with her except for her little bloated stomach, which will turn normal after she digested all the food she ate. I sometimes really wonder, where did she put all the food that she ate? Her body is only a little bigger than my palm. As time passed by, redness in my skin stopped spreading, but that didn't lessen. If someone would look at me, they will find my body red as a tomato. Not only my supreme combat exercise is advancing, but my refinement engine also purifying mana at a much higher rate. I broke past 13th and a 14th circle simultaneously, and because of that my performing weird exercise become even faster. The redness of my skin started to recede when I barged into the 15th cycle supreme combat exercise, and I performed weird exercises even faster. Within an hour, all redness on my skin tone, but I suddenly felt very tired and suddenly just wanted to sleep on the floor of the cave. I control my urge sleep and walk upstream to wash my body of the sweat. I never sweated in my life this much as I sweated earlier when I felt like cooking. I got a little surprised when I checked the time. It took me more than 5 hours to let out extra energy from my body, as it is midnight now. I have to be a little careful eating corporal grade monster from on. I got out of the stream, wore my clothes, entered the camp to sleep. Rhea is sleeping soundly with complete guard down. If anyone had nefarious intentions, she could nothing than be a pig on butcher's blade. I fell asleep, and as soon as I laid on the floor, when I woke up, it's already morning, but Rhea is still sleeping soundlessly. Her injuries seem to have healed already. She will wake up soon. Flexing my sore muscles, which became sore after intense physical exertion of last night, I quickly freshened up and started to cook. The spices which were enough for me to last for the week will be finished in 3 days, as if I continue with Rhea. How are feeling? I ask as when I head tense flap opening. Very good, she said with a bright smile. I'm leaving after eating, do you? I asked her, told my plan of finding a rescue team from West Blood or group of those who's accidentally entered this realm like us, so we could find a way out of this realm. I'll come with you. Can you show me the map? She asked. I will send it to your holowatch, I said, and sent her the map. We left the cave after planning the route. The cave is safe, but we can't stay here. We have to find a chance to return home, no matter how slim the chance is. We greeted with bright sunlight. After coming out of the cave, I have to shield my eyes for a while to let them adjust to the light. We will follow your plan of the searching outskirt of the forest. It is the very good and safe plan, she said. When I told her about my plan searching the only outskirt of the forest, she accepted without any objection. It will be very with you here, I said. I really mean it when I said it. In the outskirt of the forest, there are only private and specialist grade monsters, and she is being at the peak of specialist grade. Very few specialist grades could harm her. Even if we come across corporal grade monster, I will have a minute chance of survival. Because of her, that is what I am most happy about. Ashlyn, don't eat unknown fruits. I admonished Ashlyn, this palm-sized chubby monster really glutton. This is her 3rd time today eating unknown things. She never listened to me, especially when it comes to food. It hadn't been more than 2 hours since she ate lunch, and she is still eating hungrily. I heard many people got poisoned or dead by eating unknown in the forest, but I don't want something happen to her. There are no hospitals here, nor did I have anti-poison potions. She will be in quite a dire state if she is something poisonous. Choo-choo, she chirped in defiance and ate another berry while looking at me. Huh, this little birdie of yours is quite a glutton, said Rhea as she laughs, seeing Ashlyn antics. Yeah, she loves to eat. I said even Rhea's panda monster, who is quite big, is not as glutton as Ashlyn, as stone pandas are known to be gluttonous. We talked as we were walking. I come to know many things about Rhea. She 1.5 years older than me and also come from a small town like me. I noticed some sadness as she talked about her hometown. I think she also misses it. She said that she reaches a peak of specialist grade 1 year ago and trying to level up corporal grade many times, but failed. I felt sad hearing this because of my condition worse than her. Ashlyn is only at class 2 strain. Forget about the corporal grade. Even leveling up to specialist grade will be difficult for me. The only solace I have at Ashlyn is mutated gray spark sparrow, and despite her having class 2 strain, but being mutated will help level up quicker than her peers. As we were walking, we saw something that stopped us on our track. I didn't think we will discover the dead person before a live one. It looks too male from what left. It was already eaten by the monsters. All that left of the body was little flesh and broken bones. It was quite a gruesome scene to see. I shudder to see this scene. I didn't think I will find dead before finding someone alive, especially at the outskirts. As long as one is a little careful, one can stay alive at outskirt despite being at private grade. Either he must have not careful enough or has the bad luck to come across a powerful monster. Seeing the condition of armor he wearing, it is probably a corporal grade monster that had killed him, because only corporal grade monster could damage grade 1 artifact this much. Looking at core, it seems to be day old and was killed quite brutally, seeing broken and splintered bones here and there. Covering my clothes, I picked out shoes near the body. Thank God the shoes were not attached to the body, or I wouldn't have them moved even if they were grade 1 shoe type artifact. Seeing faint teeth marks on them, some monster must remove them at chew and left them here after having its fun. I stored them in my backpack. I currently can operate more than 2 grade 1 artifact. I will only able to activate them when I reach the specialist grade. When I looked at Rhea, I saw her rummaging the dusty backpack. The backpacks looked fine except for some dirt on it. Throwing out useless things, she wore a backpack on her shoulders. Without wasting any time, we left the scene silently after burning the body. If I was back in West Blood, I would have definitely buried the bodies, but here I don't have the luxury to do that. We didn't judge each other taking things from the dead body because we need them. Even if I didn't need it, I still would have taken it to sell it later. We walked in comfortable silence without talking, both of us not as mood talk after seeing the body. Seeing that body made me realize the cold, hard reality of this realm. Being in outskirts doesn't mean you won't come across any corporal level monster. Every step has to be cautious, lest you get noticed by the dangerous monster. We changed our course a little after seeing the body. We were a little inside the forest when we were traveling, but now we were walking in the boundary of wasteland and forest for the safety. Ashlyn also controlled herself seeing our mood. She still flew away and ate unknown things, but this time she stayed within my vision range. Hours passed by. Soon it is afternoon, but we did not see the shadow of the person. We expected this. The area of this realm is very large. Not seeing the single person normal, but still, I hope that we will come across some person, but that didn't happen. Soon the past and next come, but that was also without any result. After dinner, Rhea and I studying the map. This small lake here, it is nearly outside of the forest. It is a best possible spot for any large group to gather. It has water and monsters they can hunt for food. Rhea said, "What she said, right? It is the closest spot where large people could gather. What you said, right, but it would take us 4 to 5 days to reach there." I said, "We discussed it some more before deciding to walk toward the small lake from tomorrow." After we finished eating, I packed the camp and started our journey towards the small lake. That is the perfect spot for any large group to stay, as it is abundant in everything. The one good thing happened to me yesterday afternoon, that my mana had reached 75% purity. After 65%, every increase in mana became very difficult. My mana purity reached this high only because I entered in this space realm. I am just happy that my mana purity had reached 75%. Those who have 75% mana purity are considered elite in the Republic, because very few could make their mana this pure. I thought it would take me near week reach at least 1 week, but it happened in 3 days. But soon the scene of 3 private grade evolvers killing corporal level monsters appeared in my mind, and I became sober from my happiness. In front of them, I am nothing. Any one of them can kill me with a single move, and seeing the power of their skills, I am sure their mana purity must be 90% or above. Rustle! We heard the rustle of leaves, and soon pure white python appears in front of us. It is about 4 meters in length and wide enough that its mouth can easily bite my head off. I took a step back, as usual, sensing its aura, which is the peak of specialist grade like Rhea. While walking toward the monster, she activated her great sword and also summoned her panda monster. Her greatsword is only 1 meter in length, but it is wide my palm. I got quite startled when I saw her weapon of choice. Girls normally use swords and knives and very used other weapons. It is a perfect weapon for her, as she had no specific power except for enhancement in defense and strength. She and her panda monster both attacked the white python same time. It got a little startled first, but dodged both attacks moves. In the past 2 days, we come across many monsters. Private grade will be handled by me and specialist grade by Rhea. This white python is unusually fast. I am not worried though. I know Rhea is much stronger than she is showing. The python craftily tried to spray poison on her, but Rhea countered it with her broadsword expertly, as there was no way to dodge. Bam! Python monster hit Panda's paw. Python had overlooked the panda looking at its slowness, but this panda nimbly sneaks beside it and attacked with the paw. The snake had controlled itself mid-air and dodged Rhea's sword, which was coming from behind. As the battle raged on, Python got hit many times but did not get seriously injured. It's been only 15 minutes seen fight had, and would be over in 10 minutes. She has been holding back till now to find if this monster has hidden ability. Once she is sure that monster had used all its ability, she will attack it with her full might. I got quite surprised seeing when that white python had suddenly increased its speed and attacked Rhea. She was startled, but she barely able to survive that blow. Really? One can't judge this realm's monsters too early. Rhea and White Snake begin to fight in earnest while Stone Panda stood in a side alone waiting for a chance to attack. I put up a little more distance fight in myself. I didn't want to repeat yesterday's mistake. Yesterday, when Rhea and Specialist Stage Monster was fighting, that monster suddenly attacked me. Although I had put distance between me and fight, it was not enough. Seeing I was easy to target, it attacked me. I would have died, or at least got have fatally injured if not for Stone Panda saving me at last moment. It has been nearly half an hour Rhea started fighting the white python. It is longest fight had fought Rhea in front of me. Usually, she killed monster within 20 minutes, but it got over 30 minutes. I used to think of myself as talented when I created the first seal of supreme combat technique, and I was 9 heavens when I compare myself with Sarah and Jim, who were the same age as but had an organization backing them. But I got herd reality checks in this world, first by those 3 from the Central Continent, who could easily skip the 2 great combat power, and then with Rhea, who at least created 4 seals supreme combat exercise. Although she did not tell specifically how many seals she had created, I can guess by her fighting prowess. And that's not the most shocking thing. She told many people of the same age, as she created more seals than her, especially those from the organization. She even told me one interesting secret that she come to know by accident. She said no one can seem to create the 10th seal before age of 20, no matter how much they try. That is why she became so shocked when I told her private grade evolver skipping 2 grades and probability of them creating more than 10 seals. I sometimes feel ashamed seeing Rhea killing all the powerful monsters, and I promise myself that I will use every chance to become stronger, no matter how dangerous that is. Thud! Rhea's sword decapitated monster while I was lost in my thinking. She uses quite a crafty plan to kill that snake. Sneakily, her Stone Panda had gripped the python's tail, making it immovable for a moment, and used this chance to kill the snake in one move. It is quite an efficient kill. She quickly removes the core from the monster, and we walk after lighting a fire to the monster's core. As we were walking, Ashlyn swiftly flew away from my shoulder on the tree in front of us after seeing wild fruit on the tree. She quickly swipes the fruit off the tree with quick precision and started to eat with relish. I didn't say anything seeing she wouldn't listen to me, no matter how many times I told her not to eat any unknown fruit. But as we were walking, I suddenly stopped on my track as I felt something with my bond with Ashlyn. What happened? Rhea asked vigilantly. While looking around, I didn't answer her as Ashlyn suddenly went inside me. My mana begins to drain at the quick speed as she went inside. I turned extremely happy seeing this because I know what is happening. I am leveling up. She is leveling up. Means I am leveling up. Soon mana inside my body started to drain. I quickly put down my backpack and removed the fist-sized portion meat from the heart of Corporal Grade Monster. If it were normal level up, this portion would have been too much, but it is level up between grades, so we'll be fine. I would have drink mana potions, but that would have been such waste of mana potions as they are better used during emergencies. I quickly cooked it with my strongest fire for a few seconds, and then ate it without wasting any second. Rhea started to understand what is happening after seeing Micheal eating the heart of the corporal level monster. Micheal is quite surprised by sudden leveling up of Ashlyn, but he didn't think much as sometimes unexpected leveling up did happen. I started to operate Refinement Engine at full speed to provide much needed mana for the level up. The changes started to occur all over my body, giving me enhancement in all aspects from physical to magical. Not only that, my runes on my refinement engine also started to brighten, and soon my refinement engine started to expand. This goes for half an hour, and Ashlyn leveled up to specialist grade when the seal of supreme combat exercise had begun to throb rapidly and started sucking all the limited mana I have in my body at abnormal speed, so fast that I started to feel pain in my body. Without cooking, I started to take bites out if the heart of corporal level monster. It tasted awful, but I still ate it. The seal started to suck more and more energy out of me, and to provide enough energy, I have to keep taking bites of the heart of the corporal monster. The throb of the seals only stopped when I ate 1/4 of heart. I felt relieved as it stopped sucking my mana, but then seal brightened and it started to transfer its energy toward the certain source. I got startled realizing that source is Ashlyn, and after my careful probing I noticed that the seal is copying itself on Ashlyn. The seal had to start to form on Ashlyn's body. I didn't know that monster can have seals of supreme combat exercise. I have to conform with Rhea later. If the seal fully copied into the body of Ashlyn, then her physique would enhance greatly, as monster her defense would be better than mine. I can feel Ashlyn ID feeling very good as the seal is forming in her body. I can understand the feeling. I felt it too when the seal is forming in my body. The forming of seal going on for 10 minutes before stopping. Choo-choo. Ashlyn comes out of me and flew high in the air. Only after a few seconds later did she come down, and I got the good look at her. Apart from growing few centimeters and her feathers becoming more vibrant than before, there are no changes in her. Choo-choo-choo. Ashlyn said something that made startled, but I soon control my emotions. Did supreme combat exercise seals imprinted on our monster during level up? I asked Rhea, in order to divert my mind from the thing that Ashlyn told me. When Ashlyn parents leveled up, they grew 3 times that normal size, but she stayed near the same. Yes, they do, but the only level up between grades, not level up between normal levels. She said. I nodded in understanding and take out the grade 1 shoes that I found near the dead body yesterday. I had already cleaned them yesterday. Now that level up to specialist grade, I can wear them without further ado. I want to test my powers so badly, but here not the place. Many powerful monsters are lurking here. Without wasting time, we resumed our journey. I took a sneak peek at Rhea as we walking, but she seemed normal. I'm still quite shocked by the thing Ashlyn told me after leveling up. She said when she was on shoulder earlier, she smelled the wonderful fragrance from fruit, and she ate that wonderful fruit with relish. But when she was about to fly away from that tree, she started to feel hot suddenly, and feeling of leveling up came soon after. After being shocked for a while, I reasonably thought it through and found there is only one reasonable explanation I had. Miracle fruit. She definitely ate the miracle fruit. They are known as miracle fruit because they have miraculous abilities. Some may help and level up like the one Ashlyn did. Some may enhance physical abilities and power one have. I even read some miracle fruit that can even grant power. I thought all that is faux, but after seeing the effects of miracle fruits, they are extremely hard to find and recognize like the one Ashlyn ate. It looked like any other normal fruit. They say only some monster had some innate talent to recognize them. Wait, didn't she said she smelled the wonderful fragrance from the fruit? She may have the talent to find miracle fruit. I will ask her later when we are alone. I become so happy that I couldn't contain myself. Rhea even frowned, seeing me but she thought it was because I leveled up. Suddenly, I came to myself. Miracle fruits aren't the normal fruits which were lying around waiting for Ashlyn to smell them. The miracle fruit may well be the only miracle fruit in this realm. But still, talent to detect fruit has immense value. Whenever Ashlyn near any miracle fruit, she will be able to smell it. 2 more days passed by, and we were only 2 to 3 days away from the small lake. Angra flower, Rhea exclaimed and cautiously cut the flower off the tree with expert precision. Rhea has extensive knowledge of herbs and ores, and she'd been able to identify them and pick them easily. She said when she was deep in the forest, she spotted precious ores and herbs everywhere, but was in no condition to take them. She must have picked tens of herbs till now. I don't know much about it, as I never extensively read about them. I only had read about them a little when I left my building for the Green Heel, as many people were finding precious herbs or ores here. Although I may have not picked as much as Rhea, I still found few ingots of ores that worth quite a credits. We didn't put every precious ore into our backpack, lest it makes our backpack heavy. We only took a minimum, and only precious. Rhea even threw away some of the ores she had picked earlier because it is making her backpack heavy. If she was hunting in Westblood, she never would have done that. She would have easily taken 10 times more ores she has now, but here is different. The danger is everywhere in this realm. It's been 6 days since I entered this realm, but I didn't see anyone except for Rhea and that dead body from the Westblood. It's been 2 days since I leveled up, but I hadn't had a chance to test my powers fully. Now I can kill private grade with the swing of my sword, but all the specialist grade monsters that I come across these days are at peak, and I am no match for them. I feel quite bored sometimes when we just walk and walk, but no monster come across us. I know it's a good thing. Lesser the monster we encounter, the quicker we will reach our destination. We suddenly stopped on track when we heard the big rustling come toward us. We quickly activated our weapons, hearing the sound. From the sound of rustle, I can say there are more than 3 monsters coming toward. Just as we attacked, it caught the monsters off guard, but stopped on time because we noticed something peculiar. It was human silhouettes. Soon they come out one by one. There's 6 of them in 2 groups, 3 boys and 3 girls. They're definitely the same as the group I met earlier. 6 of them look 14, 15 years old and are at private grade. I'm sure they are from the Central Continent as well. See, didn't tell you I sense people coming toward us, but you wouldn't believe me, said the boy complacently at the girl. He had blue hair and blue eyes and looked quite handsome. Stop bragging your sensing ability, Aaron, said the beautiful girl with hair black as night. We just stayed silent, listening to their conversation. This boy and girl seemed the leaders of their team. The boy wanted to say something, but he stopped and looked toward us smilingly. My dear friend from the outer continent, I am Sean, and this is Carol. Sean introduced himself. Would like to offer a job to you? And you won't be disappointed in our payment, he said. He sounded businessmen in those old movies. We both became vigilant after hearing him. Although I didn't sense any bad intention, from still we better be careful. And saying outer continent means he knows we come from a different place than him. What job? I asked vigilantly. All of them had the power to fight with the corporal level monster, and if they are requesting our help, then it is really dangerous. It is very dangerous, and chances of you getting injured or maybe dead are high, but if you are successful, what we will pay will be a fortune to you, he said. I got a little startled hearing his utterly honest offer. Most of the people will say no to such job, but he said he will pay a fortune. He is saying that what he will pay us a fortune to us, but not to him. What is the job? Rhea asked. Although it may be very, and we may not do it, but it doesn't hurt to ask. There is underground cave 1 hour from here. It is the cave of grade 3 sandworm monsters, he said. I also heard this grade 3 term from the other team from the Central Continent. It probably means corporal grade. There are about some 15, 16 monsters are there, and 5 or 6 grade 3 monsters, while rest is grade 2. What you two have to throw the thing inside that we gave you. He continued while keeping our expression straight. After that, you just have to run. We will handle the rest what comes after, he said so nonchalantly, like selling candy. Rhea and I may look expressionless, but we are shocked inside. They are really asking us to risk our lives, although he said before that there's a threat to our life by still. Why aren't you doing this? I asked. Instead of getting angry at my question, he smiled. We would have done it, but it would take a lot of our time and energy. Like I said, you just have thrown the things we gave and run, and we will handle the rest. I was about to reject them, but Rhea asked the question. What will we get if we do this? Rhea asked. I got a little startled when she asked this question. I didn't think she will be interested in a life-threatening job. Our seniors had hidden 2 pouches inside that cave. We only need badge inside the pouches, and rest it will be yours. He said, what's in the pouches? I can't stop asking myself. Beside the badge, it will have at least 1 night grade artifact and skill, and of course the space pouch, which containing them, if you're lucky, you may get potions and mana stones also, he said with still that slight smile on his face. Night grade? Rhea asked. I also wanted to ask this question. It is the first time I've heard it. Night grade refers to 12 basic grades. Night-grade skills and artifacts can be used by all 12 basic stages. He patiently explained to us. I am really feeling conflicted right now. I would have definitely rejected it before mentioning payment, but now that he mentioned it, I am really doing it. I'll do it, Rhea said before I could answer. I can understand her choice. They're paying a lot. Fuck it. I'll do it too. I said fortune comes with the risk. I can't always cling to my life. I have to take certain risks to progress. Let's get going then. Time is precious, he said, and we followed the 6 of them as we ran. Note: I will be starting my Patreon from tomorrow, which also will be a day when readers of our novel reached 1 million. Please keep voting. Hey, bang bang. I heard loud noises behind me. When I looked back, I saw Sean and his teammates are attacking monsters. I can't see clearly how many monsters died, but they keep coming out of caves as there has been a large cloud of dust at the entrance, but Sean and friend keep attacking and drinking a mana potion. I could hear faint sounds from afar. Carol and her team also fighting the monsters like Sean. Grrrr. Grr. Bang, bang, bang. Loud cries of monster and attacks from the show's team is grating my ears. Soon smoke cleared, and I could see 4 bodies were lying in the ground, but 3 giant earthworm monsters were moving towards Sean and his 2 teammates. From their size and aura, they're definitely corporal stage monster, but Sean did not seem flustered seeing them and attacked them at his own will. Although those 3 monsters looked fatally injured, they are not, and only their outer defense is broken. They started to fight in wild abandon. Seeing the fight, I shook internally. It did not look to fight between private grade and corporal grade, but corporal grade Versace corporal grade. The fight is going for half an hour, but there is no clear winner on the surface, but I can tell that those 3 corporal level monsters not going to survive more than half an hour. The fight would have finished in the first 20 minutes, if not for monsters' ability to burrow into the ground from time to time. I started to feel faint vibration under my feet, but I didn't think much, assuming they were just the vibration created by the fight, but I was so wrong. Bang! Grr! An earthworm monster comes out ground not far from me and started to cry out in its grating voice. It stalled for a while, as if sensed the environment, and then suddenly it comes toward me, making that uncomfortable notice. It is small compared to monsters that Sean and team fighting, but it could still eat me whole easily. I thought of running, but there is no use as this is mid-level specialist grade monster. In the cave, I successfully able to run away from corporal grade monster because space was narrow and it wasn't able to chase me at its full speed, but here's different. I activated my sword, armor, and shoes while still circulating the 20th move of exercise. I know I'm not its match right now, but I just have stalled it for a while as Sean finishes fight and save me. Fuck. I hit myself hard feeling ashamed, since when I became such loser that I want others to save me, and especially from those who are lower grade than me. I screamed loud and run toward the monster to attack it. No matter how powerful this monster is, if not kill it, I will at least injure it for my pride. I run toward it with all my speed. By making a momentum, I wanted to make my strongest attack. These shoes are really amazing. My speed had increased nearly 2 times. These shoes are best to make an instant movement. Clank! My sword hit it, cracking the earth layer off its skin and even drawing out its blood. Grr! It roared and tried to eat me with its mouth, but using the counterforce of my sword, I dodged its mouth. Seeing it's coming toward me with its mouth opened, seeing its speed, I don't have any option but meet it with my sword. Clank! Thud, thud, thud. As I attacked it with my sword, I felt a shock ran through my body and I have to take a few steps back. I even received some internal injuries due to shock, but I don't have time to dwell on it as it is coming toward me. Clank, clank, clank. I kept defending against its attack. If this keeps going, my internal injuries definitely will worsen. I can't do anything except for defense and, of course, try to circulate advanced moves of exercise, but harder as I already feeling immense pain. Now I truly understand the necessity of skills. I had thought as long as I am able to circulate more moves of exercise it will be, but it is not. Supreme combat exercise best used to make the body stronger by creating more seals, but it can't give you instantaneous and lethal power. Only skills give that. I am really regretting not accepting Jim's offer. Half a month ago, Jim suddenly asked if I had any half skill when I said no. He wanted to give me one, saying he had many. I declined to say I had no need for skills as I had supreme combat exercise, and that is enough, but I am so wrong. I know that now. Clang! I felt a little less shocked this time as I successfully circulated the 21st move. Still, not enough. Not enough. I roared inside and started madly attacking it. Although I barely able injure, but it gives me some release from feeling repressed past few weeks. Clank, clank, clank. Thud, thud, thud. Pooh! I vomited the blood as my internal organs shook. Even receiving injuries, I didn't stop madly attacking while still circulating exercise. This madness started to pay off. My attacks become lethal as the circulation of exercise reached the 23rd circle. Only one moved 24th. Grrr! We both engulf in madness. The monster was already quite mad of inhaling the gas from Glassball, and now gaining small injuries from my relentless attacks. It moved its mouth toward head without caring for consequence, but I defended it from while taking a few steps back. Gotcha! Fuck! I shouted as my shouted, dislocated by the attack. I quickly adjusted it back to its place without wasting any time and attacked it again. I may look mad who fighting without his life, but that is not. There is a method in my madness. Even since I attacking it, 5 out of 3 of my attacks were concentrated on a single spot on its head. I already removed the defensive layer of it with my attack, and I only need to make attack accurately to finish it off, but there's a problem. I didn't think my attacks are powerful enough to pierce its skull. I think only after circulating 24th move of supreme combat exercise, and that's what I tried to achieve through my madness. Crack! Another one of my bone crack, this time it's my hips, but I did not, and keep attacking. Yes, I shouted through my gritted teeth as I succeeded in circulating 24th move of supreme combat exercise. Bam! Crack! Another some of my bones crack in my happiness of circulating 24th move of exercise. I get distracted and got. Wiping my bloodied mouth, I quickly get up. This is a blessing and a curse. Monster and I have enough space between us that I could probably jump over its head. Shouting with all my heart. I ran towards it with heart. Grr! It shouted seeing me running toward it when there's only 3 meters distance between us. I jumped. If I want wearing grade 1 shoes, making this jump would have been quite hard, but it is quite effortless. Grrr! I opened its mouth seeing me jump toward. I will definitely end up as its food, but I smiled seeing the monster acting as I predicted. As I was only 1 meter away from it, I did flip in the air with the aid of my grade 1 shoe artifact. Poochie! I pieced the blade into the skull of the monster as I directly above it and left the sword in its skull. Grrr! Growling. Thud! I heard its mournful cry as I landed on the ground with the thud. Growling! It cried out of pain loudly, but soon its cries started to slow down and it fell on the earth motionless. I removed the bottle healing potion from my pocket and drank it and let go of everything. I powerlessly fell on the ground as I watched the dead monster body. I didn't even want to take out my sword from the monster as I'm feeling pain due countless broken bones in my body. Sitting on the ground, I watched the fight, which is happening in front of me, of the 3 corporal level monsters. One has fallen, while Sean and his teammates fighting the remaining 2. The fight should be over within an hour, the only reason it's taking so long because of the defense of the monsters. Earthworm monsters have thick layer earth covering their body. It is quite harder breach, especially corporal level earthworm, which defense layer has metallic texture on it, which makes it even harder to penetrate. But I can see many injuries on the bodies of monsters. They should not be able to last more than an hour. It's a good thing for me, though. An hour rest would be enough for me to walk normally again. Seeing many amazing skills that Sean and his teammates are using, I also want to see if I'll get any skills in my payment. If I had such skill that Sean is attacking with, I would have finished my fight 1/4 of the original time. As I watched the Sean fight, I learned many things, especially on how to fight. Their way of fighting is really precise and efficient. Not a single moment is wasteful. Every flick of their finger to thump of their foot for the purpose. The one thing startled me as much as skipping of the grade is their teamwork. It's flawless. They rarely talk in the fight, but each other seem to know what other going do, and they act according to it. If I could implement any of the good points in my fighting, it will be very helpful to me. Sometime later, they killed another monster, leaving behind only one. seeing the fight is going over soon. I walked toward them, but not before taking out the core from the monster that I just killed. I stopped walking after I reached a certain distance from the fight and wait for it finishes it. I don't want to become a casualty of my recklessness. Bang! 3 of them released different skills, but they had merged seamlessly and attacked the monster. Thud! This was the attack that broke the last lifeline of monster, and it fell into the ground with a thud. 3 of them had rested on the ground while taking out a potion from their pocket. Sean just gave me tired smile, but didn't talk. Looks like this fight had taken too much out of them. I am very happy seeing that. I didn't have to immediately go into the cave immediately, as I wanted to remove the core of the monster. If it were other monsters, I would have removed the herd from the corporal level monster, but looking at their horrible faces, I didn't want to do it. If as Westblood, I would have taken their heart to sell, but here I only took the heart of monster to eat, and I don't want to eat the heart of these horrible-looking monsters. I quickly removed the core of 8 monsters, including the monster that I killed earlier. I got a total of 9 monster cores today. 6 specialist grade and 3 corporal grade. When I taking out the core, I didn't see any ridicule or satire in Sean's eyes, but I did see in his teammates' eyes. I didn't mind that looks least a bit. Compared to this much money, there looks nothing to me. Let's go. Carol may be already waiting for us, he said after resting for 15 minutes. All 4 of us follow behind Sean. This time his speed not that fast, and I could easily follow behind him. On the way to the monster's cave, I've asked many questions to Sean. Some he answered while on, some he just smiled without saying anything, but all the questions Sean answered me will be very helpful to me in my future practice. A half an hour later, we reached the place from which I threw the glass balls, but we didn't stop there and kept going. Only when we reached the intersection of 2 caves did we stop, as we found Carol standing there with 3 girls. What took you so long? Carol asked. There was 3 grade 3 monster on our part. Sean replied with his usual smile on his face. Now that you arrived, we should head inside, said Carol, and we walked towards the last cave. Rhea and I walked behind 6 people. She seemed a little roughed up. Looks like she also fought with the monsters. Cave, where monster resides, is extremely big, and it didn't seem to smell foul, which is expected. Sarah and Sean had lightened the light stone to the limit, which made the whole cave bright as a day. The cave looked mostly empty, except for some monster shit and few rock and stones here and there. Sean and Sarah walked toward the corner of the cave and picked up 2 while color palm-sized leather pouches which seemed to have runes drawn all over them. My heart beating fast as Sean and Sarah picked pouches and removed the fist-sized black badge from it. Not only me, even Rhea can't seem to control her face and emotion seeing those pouched. I can feel the satirical gazes, but didn't mind. My breath starts to quicken as Sean and Carol come towards us. Sean had again removed something from them, this time half fist-sized disc. Seeing him doing, Carol also did that. Sean took the disc off the Carol hand and seemed to read it. 2 low-level night grade skills, Blazing Strikes and Mirabelle's Dance. These are a quite good low-level skill. He said looking toward us. Blazing Strikes? Mirabelle's Dance? This is my first time hearing these skills name, and Rhea also seems to be clueless about it. Seeing our clueless faces, Sean explained to us. Blazing Strikes is fire manipulation skill, and Mirabelle's Dance is speed-related skill. Sean explained in short term. Which one do you want? He asked as he looks at us. There's a no question about which skill I want. Ashlyn and I share fire ability, of course. I will select fire-related ability. I will take Mirabelle's Dance, Rhea answered before me. I will take Blazing Strikes. I also said after Rhea. Sean nodded, seeing our choices. Give me your holowatch. He said. I got confused, but I moved my hand toward him. He did something with a rectangular disc. Beep. A notification sounded on my holowatch. Their folder named Blazing Layers, but when I tried to open it, it reminded code. Winnell looked shown in confusion. OSC *3H. He said extra long code, which I typed after him. Soon the folder opened. He repeated the same process to Rhea. Here, take this, he said, and handed me and Rhea the pouches. We had already wasted enough time in this cave. We should get going. He said to Carol, nodding. Both Carol and his team started to leave, but he suddenly stopped. I'll give advice. Don't use mana crystal for practice. It does more harm than good. Use it only when you get past 12 basic stages. Saying this, he left with his teammates. I got a little startled by Sean's advice. I had thought that mana crystals were one of the practice resources, but Sean said it will be detrimental to practice. I was a little disappointed, but soon my expression turned very happy. Sean giving advice about mana crystals means there's a possibility of having some mana crystals in a pouch in my hand. I opened the skill folder first because I want to check skill above all. Blazing Strikes is the skill which throws the concentrated bolts of fire. The more concentrated fire is, the more lethal it will become. As I keep reading its description, my expression morphed in utter shock. This skill is too powerful. As long as I get basic mastery over it, I don't think any leftovers in Westblood will be my match, either from the government or organization. Only those who have skill comparable to Blazing Strikes will be matched for me in the same realm. And this is only low-level knight grade skill. I wonder how powerful medium and high-level knight skills are, but I am sure about the one thing. The skills that Sean and his friends use are only low-level skill because medium and high-level knight skill has a very high requirement that even Sean can't able satisfy at private grade. The only prerequisite of this skill is that your mana has to be 80% minimum. My mana will reach that purity in a few days. My hand is shaking a little bit excited as I look at the pouch, the white in color with white runes drawn all over it. I was shocked when looked inside the pouch. It had about 1 meter cubic space, but that's not what shocked. What shocked me most is the things inside it. There are sword hilt, a silver bracelet which looked quite stylish, 1 potion bottle, and 5 thumbnail-size colorless crystals. They are mana crystals. They look like coins made of crystals, and top of them is the same logo I've seen on the clothing of Central Continent's youth. Of 5 petals red jasmines. This seemed to be the logo of their organization. The pouch size can be adjusted. It can be made big as my arm and small as the current palm size. As I removed the sword hilt from the pouch, I saw Rhea also doing the same. The sword did not look as normal sword hilt, but did not look that special. If someone looked at it, he would only give second glance before forgetting about it. It's less noticeable than Sean and Jim were using. I feel happy seeing that as I could use outside without notice being special. I only hope this sword would suit me. If it turned in broadsword or long sword, then it would be quite troublesome. I startled because when I input my mana into it, I come to know that I can manipulate its size. I can turn to scimitar or falchion, any sword I want, or completely different sword which is suitable for me. I have heard this type of size manipulating artifacts exist, but never seen with my eyes. Rhea had also manipulated her sword size. It is a little different than before, it wider than before, and looking at her bulging muscle a little heavier also. I noticed that when I am manipulating the sword, its weight increased and decreased, and that is not controllable. And I noticed another interesting thing, that it took very less mana than the grade 1 sword that I am using, approximately 5 times less. Even if I was in the initial level of private grade, I still could use this sword easily. And another thing is, I could activate and deactivate this sword easily. Next, I received the bracelet. I know this is not a bracelet, but shield like sword earlier. It can also be easily manipulatable. It will be very helpful to me defending against my opponent easily. If I had the shield earlier, I would have had an easier time fighting that monster and would have been less injured. The bottle is normal thumb-size potion bottle, which is continuing yellow liquid. There's no information on it, but I know it is very precious. The last thing is 5 colorless thumbnail-size mana crystals. The ones saw on news were very coarse and not refined as these ones. Rhea and I found 3 things on our space pouch similarly. Instead of shield-type artifact, she got shoe-type artifacts. I don't think it is a coincidence that we got artifacts that is suitable for us. When Sean and Carol discussed something earlier, I saw him doing something to our space pouches. It must be Sean doing, giving us the artifacts that is suitable for us, as Rhea's offense is strong, but her speed is slow, so shoe-type artifact best suited for her, and I focus very less on my defense, so the shield is necessary for me to defend against the attacks that I can't dodge. I will have to thank Sean if I am ever able to meet him again. I am about to put the pouch in my backpack. It will be quite dangerous if someone takes note I have space pouch with me. Gasp, Rhea gasped. When I looked I found her staring at the right pocket of her pants. What happened? I asked her, seeing her acting like that. Try to put your space pouch in your pocket, she said instead. I looked at her confusedly. Seeing she not saying anything, I put my space pouch in my pocket. Gasp! I also gasped seeing what happened. My space pouch, which I put in my pocket, had merged with my pocket. If someone looked from outside, one will find it nothing different, and I just have to supply the mana inside to store or took out the thing inside it. Is simply miraculous. It will immensely help in time of emergency, and I would have to be a little careful inputting and removing things in others' presence. There are a lot of precious ores and crystals here. I said. She nodded in affirmation. We both started to collect the crystals and ores that we found precious, and this time we don't have to worry about space and weight, as whatever we put inside the space pouch will become weightless. I also put the precious things that I have in my backpack into my space pouch. Not to be too obvious to others, we still decided to keep many things in my packback and only keep most precious into the space pouch. The space pouch is only 1/3 is filled after putting so many things inside. Dark will come soon. We shout, "Get out of this cave," said Rhea. I nodded and started to leave with her. Looking at my holowatch only 1 hour remained till dark, and we hadn't found a suitable spot yet.